Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Knowledge bone. What's the science, baby?
What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying.
What's happening? So, as you see by the title, we're going to get right into it, right? Misandry, the Manosphere is bad. But Misandry is good. So let's go down this rabbit hole, shall we? Because from what I've seen, it's becoming very apparent that we're having what came first, the chicken or the egg conversation. But when I'm seeing the ladies doing this thing, it looks like history is really going to really do a number on today's modern woman in years to come. I'm gonna tell you why. Because with this modern day lady, misandry is good. It's really good. Because when you hear young ladies talk, and sometimes when you hear older women talk, so when I say young ladies, I mean in their early 20s, but you can almost go all the way up to 40s and 50s and hear the exact same stories. When my mothers and my aunts and my grandmothers, and my great aunts or great grandmothers or great aunts, they dealt with so much, so now we're going to act like this. So then you got to ask the question, wait a minute, so you think it's going to look good historically that you keep the narrative running, you were being out of pocket with men, for women in the past who you didn't necessarily see go through things, but you heard go through things, and you didn't even hear the whole story then. So you don't see that as a problem. So your grandmother went through something. So because grandma went through something that you know of, that you've heard of, when you meet a guy and go out on a date, you give him a hard time in solidarity with your grandmother's story or with your auntie's story. And you take that into the public and you speak on it and with it as if it makes sense. So now we got a problem. We got a major problem. Because that means you go from date to date, person to person, man to man, with a bone to pick with strangers for people in your past that you don't even know. This might not even be your grandfathers or your great grandfathers or your uncles. This could have just been fictitious men that people dated. They don't necessarily have to be married to these people. They just have to have been told, you have just had to be told that they existed. So of course, so now you see the modern day lady doing all of these things towards men. But that's good because men deserve it, because that's what my granddad deserved it, my great granddad deserved this, and my uncle deserved this, and my great uncle deserved that, and the milkman and the mailman deserve that behavior. So now we got a huge problem going on. Huge problem because you're out of pocket. You literally have lost your mind. So at the same time you're actively interacting and dating men doing this, you're not saying that the current men are doing anything to you. So that would leave people watching in the present and watching in the future to look at these things and assume, oh, so the guys in your time weren't really that bad, because even when people go on the men are trash kick, that man hater thing, you were still talking about men of the past while you were, they were still a caveat to the men of the present. So that was a problem. That was a huge problem, because y'all didn't think this through. You didn't think this through at all. So, problem number one. Now, here's problem number two. You don't like men and you're misandrous, but you don't like men's response to you being a man hater. See, the manosphere is bad because the manosphere is a response to your man hate. In present time, dealing with present people, in present dating, present relationships, present marriages, present divorces, present family court situations. So what's bad is they're saying, or we're saying, I'm not buying this anymore. No, this is the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore. Then you get I don't understand. Because as a man, you're supposed to be here to be my punching bag for all of my anger, angst, hatred, misplaced anger of life. So when guys say, no, we're not doing that, he becomes the bad guy for that too. See, the present day guy becomes the bad guy because he says, listen, I'm not taking you out on a date and you cussing me out, and at the same time using me, and at the same time I'm paying for this. And you think that's a good thing, and you think that's right, and you think that's normal, you think that makes sense. No. So now you're hearing people go, well, these guys are bad. These guys are evil. For what exactly again? For what exactly again are these guys bad and evil? I don't know. Oh my God, he didn't mean to ask you out on a date and you treat him like trash. He says, no, I'm not going out on this date. This date is over with. That's such a bad thing, right? Such a bad thing. So that's what these guys are mad about. Even when the guys talk about, the female nature, the approach, and this, that, and the third. All the way from, being up front in mode one, all the way to pump and dump. These are responses to what's been going on in society for years. The problem is, you got half of the species who don't like the response because they feel like, the response is unjustified. So the issue is, if the response is unjustified and your actions aren't justified, seems like a fair exchange. Because, you think you can do whatever to these guys, so these guys think they can do whatever to these girls. But that's normal. That's every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But then you're gonna turn right around and say, no. See, I'm acting like this because my great grandmother went through. Speaking of great grandmothers, Sojourner Truth, Ain't I a Woman? See, it went from being a abolitionist and free to now it's perverted. It's just as perverted as the "I have a dream" speech, you know, because now you see women decades and on a century later who are black talking about "Ain't I a Woman?" Yeah, but what does that have to do with you being Misandrous? You know, I need equality. Equality in what exactly? I did it to myself. So, looking at the picture on the thumbnail, everybody knows, you know, that recently popped up because of the Jada Pinkett Will thing. So people were showing how his wife still has this problem. You know, is still doing something crazy. You know, I'm saying it with my Hennessy. That's how I'm saying. You know, and it's Hennessy white, by the way. So, you know, I'm being colorist. So now, here's the problem. Now we're going to deal with the reality and the fact that no matter what you do to a man, you're going to turn around and be the victim, even on camera, when you're in the wrong, and you keep going as if nobody can see that you're dead wrong. Because in the modern day, being dead wrong to a man doesn't exist. To these misandrous women, see, that's good. If a guy's having a bad day, you can antagonize him. You can feel him. You can get in his face. You know, you can really ruin it. You can make his bad day worse because, hey, chivalry. He's not supposed to respond. You know, he can't do to you, quote unquote, what he did to Chris Rock, right? See what I'm saying? So, but if you respond and say, you know what? I'm going to get an entanglement tonight. I'm sick of this. I'm out of here. Whoa. Wait a minute. He's wrong. Or is he? Because now you got to ask the question. The ladies say what's good for the goose is good for the gander because they're acting like this now. Because this is what men have done for decades and done for years. See, you listen to misandrous people, misandrous ladies, and they'll tell you what men have done for centuries. Men have cheated on women for centuries. As if men who are cheating on women centuries ago weren't cheating with women. So even 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 years ago, men were cheating. And all the women that they were cheating with are discounted. Because those ladies weren't cheaters. You know, they weren't Jezebels. They weren't side chicks. They weren't concubines. You know, Samson and Delilah, that's biblical. You know, what was the story? Was that not Samson and Delilah, but Ruth and Hagar? I think that was the lady's name. When they wanted to have a baby, and it was super old, and had a baby with the maid, but then his wife at 90-something years old or 80-something years old had his baby too. Like, side chicks are biblical. You understand what I'm saying? Even Jesus' mama is a baby mama. Side chicks are biblical. So to act like they don't exist and they never existed because ain't she a woman is preposterous. It's just flat out stupid and ignorant. But we gotta go with the man hate all the way to the top. So let's ride this man hate all the way to the top. So what is okay? What is fair game? Because the manosphere is bad. But let me tell you what's been fair game with misandry. Manosphere, bad. Abort black babies, especially black boys. Thank you. Thank you. It was, Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear said. The manosphere is bad, but abort black babies, especially black male babies, no problem. That's good. Women can say that. That's misandricism. That's we gonna get rid of male babies that aren't even out of the womb yet. That's not bad. It's not bad. The black manosphere is bad, but I'll bust the windows out your car because you cheated, or I thought you cheated, or I keyed your car because you cheated, or I thought you cheated, or I slashed your tires because you cheated, or I thought you cheated. No problem, not a problem. I called the police on you to get you in line. And if they shot you, hey, they shot you. No problem. You become, black manosphere is bad. Women call them in bullet bags. No problem. Especially black men. That's not a, hey. That's misandry, but hey, that's okay. That is just fine, Nobody, what's the real issue? And when I say it's good is because the same women who are triggered by things that the manosphere can say or have said and can make videos and response videos and reaction videos to and bring up true life stories. See, none of that stuff, they can't respond at the same clip that the men can. But when they talk about their experience, it's really, really delusional. Case in point, femicide. Black woman dies every 5.5 hours. So, it's 24 hours in a day. So every 5 hours a black woman dies. So every day, 4 black women get killed. But let's just give it a round number. Let's just round that out and say every day, 5 black women get killed. 5 of them, a day in America. So in 50 states in America, hundreds of cities in America, 5 black women will die from homicide in a 1/10 of those states, right? And here's what's up, Roger? My bad, fam. And here's the interesting thing, because I'm gonna go with 5. We're gonna go with 5. We're gonna go with 5. So let's just, I don't know, So 1,825 women will die in a year from homicide. But here's the problem. Did they all get killed from black women? Did they all get killed from black men? No, they did not. See, which is misandry. See, we don't talk about black on black woman crime. We're not talking about that. See, because you see numerous guys, in the news that they'll put up. This man killed this woman. This man killed that woman. This man killed this woman. Hey, those are the facts. Those, that's what happened. And these guys need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But here's the problem with the misandry. A lot of these young ladies, and a lot of these grown women are attracted to men who may demonstrate a history or give off a certain vibe that they will actually kill another black man. That's what makes them attractive. Because they're thuggish. They got swagger because they're hard, they're gangster. And what do most thugs and gangsters do that are black? Kill other black men. So you're attracted to the type of black man that will kill another black man because, hey, you don't like black men. So you want a person to help you put less black men on the planet. Okay. That doesn't seem odd. That doesn't seem like, man, you really don't like brothers. To like a brother who might kill another brother, that's a turn on for you. And, it goes with the bad boy thing. All groups have it. All groups have it. I like a bad boy, no problem. Now, you might grow out of that. But unfortunately, with this femicide thing, I remember not too long ago, it was a lawyer that got killed by her boyfriend, who happened to be a thug that she shouldn't have been with. That's just the reality of the situation. That's just the reality. She was with a guy that would possibly kill another guy. People talked about, because the black manosphere is bad, being attracted to a guy, a black male, that has a propensity to kill another black male and that looks sexy to you, that's good. So good, mind you, that you can be raised in a household that's a two-parent household. Your father could be a reverend and a rapper. You can have multiple multi-million-dollar rappers in your age groups that were young when you were young, like you. And the guy that was supposed to be the good guy that came from the gangster family, not good enough. He was in the friend zone. The guy that was supposed to be the bad boy, that was just kind of a spoiled kid, but he was still a rapper. I kind of like him, but he's a player. I know who I'm gonna date and have a baby by. A guy who been in them streets, who wound up getting killed by somebody else in them streets because that was sexy. You're not even from the side of the tracks and you're doing this. And then you turn around and you go look at the two multi-millionaire guys who you friend zone didn't really like. You go, why not? Why you not gonna be with me? I like you now. And this video is upcoming. Okay, so don't be surprised because I'm coining the phrase ghost rider. See, sisters can be misandrous because you can be a ghost rider. What do I mean by that? You ghost numerous men when you feeling yourself and you're sexy and you're in high demand. And then you hit the wall and you start hey big head texting these same guys you ghosted, and you trying to ride them to get them back because you feel like they weren't in as high demand as you were. So I'm gonna ghost you and then I'm gonna come back and ride you, aka the Sierra's prayer. And the only reason you feel like you can double back at guys because you don't like guys. You think guys are beneath you. You're gonna settle. See, if the manosphere is bad for telling men to know your worth, women have been good for telling women to never settle on an average man when she's an average woman or below average woman. She deserves more than an average man when she's average or below average just because men are beneath her. See how manosphere is bad, misandry is good. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense to me, but this is the reality that we got to deal with. So let's take this a step further. Does anybody find it ironic? I'm just asking. Do you find it ironic that getting an attitude with a man is supposed to be sexy? Because men are supposed to like women with attitudes. Because men need to be whipped into shape, and he needs to be trained by your disrespect and sassiness, right? You need to let him know you're strong. You're strong, brother. Yeah, what you gonna do, brother, when Misandry runs wild on you? This is a date. Yeah. So you need to be, trained to take disrespect by a disrespectful, sassy, strong woman who doesn't need you, but she may want you. And that's only when she wants you. And then when she doesn't want you, she can discard you. You're nothing but a man. She can pump and dump you. She can pump and dump your wallet. She can pump and dump your time. She can pump and dump your legacy. Hey, not a big deal. You know why? Because you're a man. She hates men. Men are hated. Not a big deal. Misandry, good thing. Manosphere saying, if you see red flags like that, get rid of her. Manosphere bad for that. Manosphere bad for protecting yourself. Misandry good for trying to get the bag. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. What's up, game fan? What's up, on? So this is where we're at. There's a big, big problem in this whole dynamic. We got to address some of these things. So the manosphere is bad for teaching guys to be to self-improve. But misandry is good for teaching women and empowering women through using men. See, self-improvement, bad. Using men to put yourself on a pedestal, good. Let me rewind. Let me explain what I'm saying. See, man taking care of his children, bad. Woman using the system to take care of children and herself and get a payday and then say I'm empowered because of government assistance and child support and alimony and tax breaks, good. Now here's the ironic thing. Using the government to as a way to not use men when men are really the highest taxpayers in the society. So you mean to tell me you don't need a man, but men predominantly are paying the most taxes between the genders? So now random men got to take care of you, your kids. What's up, Griff? You, your kids, your housing, your education, for you to turn around and get and use all those empowering benefits that were, that most men paid taxes for. And then on the back end, if you got kids, use child support. Man, thanks, Grinch. Use child support. Use alimony if you get divorced. You use tax breaks. Maybe use Section 8. Man, thanks, fam. Thank you. I had to look down twice. I was like, man, my bad. Using being a single mother to go to community college for free. Oh my God. See, can a single father paying child support go to community college for free? With that same tax money? No, he cannot. No, he can't. Look, I got this woman pregnant, so I should be able to go get a community college associate's degree because I did that. No. See, only a mother can do that. And you have young women who are mothers on purpose before those benefits. They got a lot of them. And that's good. That's a viable plan to get your life together. Manosphere bad, Misandry good. Let's get to parenting. If you have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, if you're a mother and the Manosphere is saying, hey, look, nobody's going to care about you, kid. You're going to have to get it out the mud. Manosphere is bad for telling your son that. But Misandry, mama could love, hate you so much that she wants your sister to be great. Your sister's going to be great. Your sister's going to be a president, as Sergeant Willie P would say. But you're going to be a good black man. That's it. Like, you're not going to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a senator, a governor. None of that. No, she's not going to tell you can do any of that. You're just going to be a good black man. Sister's going to be a president. You know, I believe in your little sis. I'm just going to be here being good black men for you. Oh, okay. All right. So, Manosphere bad. Making sure all your son has to be is a good black man, meaning he has to be available to do a woman's bidding. This is how it comes off. Be available to do a woman's bidding or throw your life down the drain for a woman at her disposal. That's good. That's good. And if that's your own, if that's your son, you're gonna teach him how to do nothing. So you're not gonna teach your son, if you don't work, you don't eat. You're gonna teach your son, don't work. So a woman like your sister can be in a better position than you, and you have to homosexual your way through life for a while and live off of her and get kicked out from place to place because I taught her how to be independent because she can't depend on a man. See, when you can parent a daughter to not depend on a man because men are no good, and you tell the son, all women, these women are good, it's just you guys are bad. So mom, so what makes me bad? That you don't take care of a woman. Okay, but so you want me to take care of a woman before I take care of myself? Yes. And don't go to college, don't get an education, don't get a trade, don't get a business mindset, don't get a work ethic, don't have ambition. What you need to know how to do first is do whatever a woman says and you'll be great. But if you turn around and you was a father and you said that, what would you be? Misandrous. You told your little girl to do nothing. Let's wait and see on that, Art Jizzle. Let's wait and see. And thanks, fam. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much. Like, let's wait and see. So, now all of a sudden, see, daddy would be misandrous to say, listen, little girl, all you need to do is be barefoot and pregnant. And your little brother gonna go out here and get it like a real man should. Because he's gonna have a family to take care of. No. Let me add something to this. when I say misandry, right? Misandry. Manosphere bad, misandry good. You got men, and I understand this as a parent, boys and girls you raise different. They're socialized different. You got men telling their sons they're not going to do anything for them because they're saying, I'm going to tell my children I ain't doing nothing for them. But you're lying because you're going to do everything for your daughter but nothing for your son. That's different. That's real different. So because you're gonna sabotage, you're gonna do so much for your daughter, you're gonna cripple her, and she's not gonna be able to meet a man. I don't want my daughter to meet a man who could take care of her better than me, because if he does, I want him to have a hard time. I want to raise my baby to know that then no man's gonna take care of her like I take care of her. It's like, oh, okay. All right. And my son, he got to be out. He got to go get it out the mud. He got to get it out the mud. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Because he's going to have a family to take care of. It's like, all right, no problem. Now, here's the problem with that. If your son is hardworking and you don't help him because he's hardworking, that means you really don't like him. If your daughter's hardworking and you help her because she's hardworking, like she went to school, she got an education, but your son went to school and got an education, but you didn't do much for him, but you did a lot for her, but they did the same thing. Well, he's a man, I'm not gonna help him. She's a woman, I'm gonna help her. So you're gonna make sure if you got it, she'll be debt free when she graduates college, but your son will be full of debt if he graduates college because he got to get it out of the mud. But 9 times out of 10, the young man that she meets is going to be in the same situation because whether it's a mother or a father, he's coming from the same aspect, but he got to get it out of the mud. So while she's debt free, if you're in an ideal situation, he's saddled with debt, but let me guess. He ain't good enough for your baby because he's beneath you and your baby. Because as a father now, you can finally have a man that's beneath you, and you taught your daughter that men are beneath her. Let me run this back to tell you what goes on with the son. Son did all the hard work too. You're a man, son. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm not gonna put you in the right positions. I'm not gonna tell you where to go, how to do it. I'm not gonna make this easy for you. Man, okay, don't make it easy. So if I get it out the mud, you're gonna be proud of me if I got it out the mud. But you're gonna say my sister got it out the mud, but actually she got it out the Rolls Royce because you rolled out the red carpet for her. I'm not really understanding what we're doing here. Why am I saying that? Because this is where it really gets ugly. Because if your son's lazy, it's understandable. I'm not gonna help you, son, because you're lazy. I can't help you if you don't help yourself. But I can't help a man who doesn't want to help himself. Then I will be crippling you. I'm not helping you. That makes sense. But you turn around and if your daughter's lazy, I'm gonna give my baby girl everything she asks for because she's my baby girl. Now your baby girl 20, 22, 25, 30. And all she know how to do is be lazy. And you gave her everything she asked for. Because a man ain't gonna do it. No, well, you're right. A man is not gonna spoil her like you spoiled her because you're stupid. Now, Manosphere bad. Misandry is good. And if your son says, hey man, listen man, I got it out the mud, you didn't help me, man, I'm successful. I'm proud of you, son. I'm proud of you because you never did anything, never asked anybody for anything. But your daughter, daughter asks you for everything. Your daughter sitting around like Drake. I got everything. I got everything. I cannot complain. So wait. And mama does the same thing. Mama does the same thing. See, Manosphere is bad. Misandry is good. Let me run this by you in a different way. The Manosphere is bad because it's telling you to be masculine. Misandry is good because if I can tell your son to be gender fluid and make your son a daughter, oh, this is beautiful, ain't it? Ain't it beautiful? If I can tell your son to be a daughter, it's okay to be a girl, son. Wow. And how many mothers and single mothers are raising their sons to be daughters, but not telling them they're raising them to be daughters? Because, see, mama don't like men. Mama don't like... How many mothers do y'all know who have sons and never told their sons they never wanted sons, they wanted daughters? So they treat their sons like daughters. So when the ladies are saying that the boys are coddled, they're saying they treat their sons like daughters and their daughters like sons. They do have a point with that. But they're being disingenuous because the moms treat their sons like daughters and coddle them and love on them and hug them and kiss them. I'm so emotional. These boys are emotional. They want to be fashionable. They want to be pretty. You pretty, or you smart, and you're beautiful. But they're not effective. They're not productive. The women, they become effective and productive because mama raised the daughter to be like a son. Like, you got to go out here and you got to produce. But here's the caveat. She told him, you got to be better than these boys. The ones, because I'm sabotaging your brother. My sister sabotaging, your cousin. And our friends are sabotaging all of their sons too. So we're going to get a leg up on these boys. Hallelujah. And the teachers going to sabotage the boys too because there's a lot of female teachers. Hallelujah. But here's where they were disingenuous. I hate men so much, we're going to sabotage all these boys, but we're going to tell you, if all else fails, baby, get you a man to take care of you. Get you an older man. Get you a drug dealing man. What's up, Dana? Get you a man with money. Get you a man who's going to do it all. And you don't have to love him. He's just there for you to use every step of the way. There's always going to be a man there for you to use. See, the manosphere is bad. They said the men are going to use women for their wombs. Women, hey, I'm going to use him for his Johnson, for his wallet, for his time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe for his DNA. Oh my God. Fair game. Fair game. Unfair exchange ain't no robbery. Let me roll this a little bit further. Manosphere bad for telling the guys to protect, have discipline with your sex. Misandry good for telling women you don't need a man if you get pregnant. So even if so you realize they want Misandry to be so, you can hate men so much when you feel like it's time for you to become a mother. You can become a mother without having a family because a mother and a child is a family. Because a man don't count because you can be the mother and the father. See, Manosphere bad for saying you're probably going to need a 2-parent household. Misandry good for saying you can be the mother and the father. Not a big deal. Not a big deal whatsoever. Not a big deal whatsoever. So now we're going to play this game. We're really going to play this game. Now, hold up. Don't think I'm not going to open this thing up. I got time today. got time today. So here's my issue. Misandry, Manosphere, bad. Once again, for telling guys, hey, listen, look at your situation practically and do what's in your best interest. That's bad. Misandry good for telling women, look at your situation practically and do what's in your best interest, and make sure another guy pays for it. That's good. That's good. Okay. Misandry good to tell women, excuse me, the manosphere is bad because all of a sudden, Bill Cosby is like Manosphere, and R. Kelly is like Manosphere. Because look at how they used women. Ooh, boogeyman style. Misandry good because city girls, use guys. Cardi B, drugs guys. Like they say Bill Cosby drugged women. Rape guys. Shouldn't have said that word, right? All for money, and she gets to be at home for it. Misandry, good. As a matter of fact, let me tell you how good Misandry is. Cardi B has a daughter, and she won't let her daughter listen to her own music. And women see that. But I guarantee you, women go, oh, you won't empower your daughter by telling her to hate men? To use what she got to get what she wants? Let's take this a step further. Manosphere bad because Manosphere is like, hey, be heterosexual. Misandry good because it's telling women to tell your children to be whatever you want them to be. Hold on, y'all. What's going on?
Hey, nephew. How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
Man, I'm just chilling, writing an itinerary for my workout tomorrow at Planet Fitness. Dealing with the tonnage, so to speak.
I hear you, bro.
Yeah, man.
On the topic.
Yep. Yeah. The thing about that, Misandry, it's just that these ladies have a misunderstanding of their place in the feminism pecking order. They think they're at the top of the heap because feminists, no, it's that white lady that's at the top. Because when Susan B. Anthony came out with that feminism, she didn't have black women in mind. Even when back then when black women tried to came to the suffrage meeting, she told them, "Hey, get them up out of here. I don't want those niggas here." And like the way that they going crazy in this space, these bras. That's why I say that feminism is a mental disorder caused by the misapplication of social engineering. And I remember I had a discussion with a young lady at work the other night about why feminism doesn't work for the black woman. And I broke it down to a step-by-step from 65 onward through the 90s and on to now. And, explain how the black woman's misandry is used as a weapon against the black community, especially against black men and black boys. Because like Ron Will said, the reason why feminism is so powerful because it's backed up by men with guns, the government. A lot of these white liberal feminists, they're married. They've been married for years. But they would tell this lie to black women saying you don't need that man. And then after they get through, they go right back to their husband.
True.
So I mean, because feminism is about white women getting power. It always has been. They wanted a piece of the white global supremacy pie. They wanted the right to vote, and then after the Enron thing, they wanted the right to own their own corporation. Because after that Enron scandal, guess what? Those ladies that blew the whistle, they got that money to start their own corporation.
Okay.
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming up on. I'm about to cook on
sure
something
thing.
else involving this topic. I appreciate you. Catch you later, all
Sure
right?
thing. Definitely.
All
All right,
right.
peace out.
Peace. Listen, this is what I mean by manosphere bad, misogyny good, right? Misandry good. I said this is going to be a historical problem. I don't think y'all realize this, but ladies talked about image in media. Jungle Fever was controversial and bad. Scandal, a few decades later, is good. A Family That Prays, good. I forget the lady's name. Is that de Blasio? I want to say. I don't know if that's de Blasio's wife. I believe so. Prior to him marrying her, she was a staunch feminist and lesbian, and then she got pregnant and had babies with this guy, and it came back out. So, not liking men, good. Then loving non-black men, good. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. What's happening, Mahogany? This is a problem. I don't think people remember Cola. Is it Cola Buff or Cola LaBeouf? She said she'd rather be a non-black man's slave than a black man's wife, basically. See, that type of stuff, the manosphere, bad. That type of misandry, good. Ladies haven't looked at, I would say, from the 90s to right now, 2020. Cola Booth, thank you. What winds up happening is ladies haven't really looked at their depictions in the media. Y'all really haven't looked at, what y'all thought was empowering. Remember when the Essence Festival had the ladies empowerment movement, and it was basketball wives and Atlanta housewives, and that was supposed to be empowering to women, and they had the event at the convention. It was all so good, and then they realized, wait a minute, this is bad. We actually shouldn't have done this, because manosphere talking points bad. But Evelyn Lozada and what is the lady's name whose husband died? Nene Leakes, great for empowering women. That was good. Thank you, Cola Booth. Yeah. That's a problem. So now we got to take that into consideration. Mind you, and using the Oscars as a reference, and this goes for black men and black women, but Halle Berry won an Oscar for what? Monsters Ball. Think about that. Monique won the Oscars for what? I just want you to think about that. Denzel won an Oscar for Training Day. Real talk. I got you, Dana. Hold up, sugar. Don't you start these shenanigans with me tonight.
How do I sound?
You good. You clear. You really clear.
I don't have my head. I'm not using my microphone. I'm using the computer microphone.
You good.
Did you do that yet?
Does that have anything to do with the topic?
No, but I'm not going to say what it is. I just want to know, did you? And if you didn't, are you?
No. And I told you, what did I tell you? If I do, or when I do, I still ain't going to tell you.
Oh, so it's like you probably did it, but you still wouldn't tell me.
No, I didn't. I didn't. But can we get to the topic, ma'am?
Yeah, what is it? You said something about what is that word?
The manosphere is bad and misandry is good.
What is misandry?
Man hating.
Oh. You heard of that hashtag listen to Black women?
No.
That's the thing now. Madame Noir on YouTube. It's like this YouTube, it's like a show on Madame Noir YouTube channel, and it's hashtag listen to Black women, but that is a hashtag. And I'm just like, and the reason why I kind of feel some kind of way about that is because women, I don't know, it's just something about women, period, in general, not just Black women, but they be getting on my nerves sometimes. And I think I came to this revelation when now more women are starting to listen to my shows and they want to comment, but they're always complaining about something because they think they know everything and they want to talk to you like you a kid and tell you what to do.
But you talk to men like we kids, and we know them.
No, I don't. Like me and you have conversations, but every time you heard me argue with somebody on YouTube, which I don't even do no more, but like when we were, back in the day, we gotta say, it's always because somebody came at me. I never bother people, and I don't start with people like in a argumentative kind of way. So if I cut somebody out, that's because they came at me in a derogatory way first.
Okay, let's have this conversation because I'm a man, you're a woman. People come around and say, when men bash Black women, whether if we're stating something that's actually true or they feel is not true, that's a problem. But when women bash Black men, that's a norm. That's y'all like that. So that's what I mean by the Manosphere is bad, but Misandry is good. See, all Black men can be dogs, but Black men saying Black women are dogs is bashing.
Right.
Black men can be
it's like a double standard. It's like, yes, society as a whole for centuries have been patriarchal, and it is sexist still. It's still sexism. So I get it as far as women are like fed up as in, I want to be heard or treated with respect or not have all this sexism. But what they did was, I'm a woman, they just flipped it. So let's say somebody's been treating you a certain way for so long, now you have a little bit of power, you're doing to them what they did to you, which continues to cycle. Nothing gets better. And I'm not going to argue with that. I agree with you to where it's like, we call out things that men do are not right, but then we'll turn around and do something. We'll do the same thing, but we'll say, well, that's not being disrespectful. That's not bashing. And also, Black women are now saying that, people don't listen to us and we're disrespected, but we're disrespected more so by Black men. I don't see that. You see what I'm saying? Like, where is that coming from?
So let me do something real quick, Daniel. Just hold on. You see this right here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is?
What's that, like an onyx or something?
It's an onyx chain with an angel wing.
Oh, okay.
But these are my younger cousin's ashes.
Oh.
He got killed by a lady who they let her off the hook because she was a woman.
Wait, so she was in prison or?
No, she never went to prison.
So she killed him, but she wasn't prosecuted for it.
She called him to come over to her house because that was his girlfriend, to have an argument with him. And when he got to the house, she shot him in the neck.
Just out the blue.
And then she said she was scared because she didn't know what he was going to do. But she called him to come to the house.
All right, that's what I said. But why did she call him over then?
Because they got into it about something.
So was this in like a southern state to where like?
Yeah, it's in Louisiana.
Okay, so it's like that stand your ground. That's how she got off because she probably
They
said,
lived
well,
together. Like she said she didn't know him at first.
so did she claim she thought it was an intruder?
At first.
Right.
And then it was like, no, you know him, that's your boyfriend. And then it was like, then they took his phone. They took his phone. He had 2 phones. So her and her kids took his phones, and his phones disappeared now. So all the messages and voicemails in his phone were gone. But she kept a voicemail of him cussing her out in months prior to this incident.
Oh wow.
And that was what she used as, oh my God, see, he cussed me out. He said he was gonna hurt. And like, oh my, but the lady who was a prosecutor was like, it's a woman. A woman would never do anything like that. Da 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 da. She was a feminist. But see, this was during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And then when she found out after that, there was a lot of women during the pandemic shooting and killing and stabbing their boyfriend.
Really? I heard the reverse. I heard it was saying domestic violence cases went up. But
most guys were working in essential jobs. So the only, a lot of guys were working, what do you call those? Not just essential jobs, but trades type of jobs, hands-on jobs that you still had to work.
Right.
So
the media made it seem like it was just women getting their ass beat with domestic violence cases going up. So like you have stats of men were being abused, but men don't usually report it to like women do. But to your point, I know a couple of women that have shot and killed their lovers or boyfriends, and it was unnecessary. So, and I'm not up here.
How many of those women are in jail?
None. They're not. One was my cousin. She was in Georgia, so it was that stand your ground. And because when you shoot, if you're shooting somebody, that stand your ground, you got to shoot to kill. They don't do that. What do you call that? Defense shot thing or whatever, warning shot. So yeah, so she didn't get arrested. She didn't get locked up, but she went crazy now because that message. When you shoot you kill someone. And you know that you were on some BS, like she's losing her mind. Literally, like she needs to be in a mental institute now, but that's what you get. But my thing is, I'm not sitting up here saying that men aren't innocent, men are perfect or whatever. No. Like when we talk about men and women, everybody come with their set of problems or set of issues. I mean, the society it's still sexist, no matter you see all these women, getting empowered or whatever. It's still sexism. Men still make more money than women. You still call the shots to a certain degree, but it's a difference between white men and black men, because when a black woman is saying you're the bad guy and you put black women down, or domestic violence, they're going to prosecute you quicker than they would do a white man. So my thing is, why are we leading with this when they're saying #listen to black women and nobody listens, we're disrespected by our men all the time. And I think that's a reach. Like that is creating a false narrative. So I can't sit up here and say it's all the men's fault, because it's women that are creating a false narrative.
And here's the problem.
Well,
this is why I'm asking this question.
But see, it's so that type of person, because you don't understand what I'm saying, or because you don't agree with me, why do I have to be all over the place? You just don't understand. Just say you don't understand. And then why don't you elaborate of which part you didn't understand that I was saying?
Don't even.
But
hold on.
I say all that to say is lack of communication. People don't know how to communicate properly.
Right. Now I kind of do things a little bit differently. And what I mean by that is I'm gonna highlight everything somebody puts in the chat. But am I going to agree with all this stuff? No, because if we having a conversation, I want to have a conversation. I don't want to have this. I don't like passive aggressive. I've said that millions of times. I do not like passive aggressive because as a person, I'm far more aggressive than I am passive. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, this is a problem. I don't care about what goes on with this type of stuff. But let me get back to the topic. Here's the thing. I know where the idea comes from, where, you know, the manosphere is bad or bashes black women. Using, you know, a lot of the things that the brothers have talked about. The issue for me becomes this. There are too many women who don't want to say that some of these things are true and valid.
True. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And that's where the problems lie. The problems lie. What happens when guys say, "Hey, man, this happens to men," and women go, "Well, I'm a woman, and as a woman, da 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 da." You know, hold up for a second. I'm about to do this for a second. Just give me 1 second, Dana. So, MGTOW flight. Is this about you and how you feel? I mean, you came here. No, hold on. You know, you want to interrupt our conversation because you got a issue. You a MGTOW. Could you do me a favor as a MGTOW and go your own way? And stop coming here with that BS so we can have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? If you're a man, go another way. Because this is some childish stuff. I'm just trying to tell you. But I'm done. So, because one of my biggest videos is saying how I don't really rock, you know, MGTOW is just feminism 2.0 at a certain point. You know, it's just a men's version of we don't like women, we're going our way, but tomorrow, let me tell you what the women are doing. Let me tell you about these women. Let me tell you what the women are. Hi, brothers. What have a woman done to you today? Bruh, get a hobby. You know, all right, cool. Now here's the thing. I don't understand. Like, I'm using Jada Pinkett thumbnail as a reference because if a man was to antagonize a woman who was going through it and stressed out like that, and she smacked him upside the head on camera, people would go, what? She should have did that. If he would have turned around and smacked her upside her head on camera for doing that, they would have said what?
Like, men don't hit women. Like, if he would have smacked her
upside her head, like, because you could see in his face, like, look, this not.
That would have been worse than him smacking Chris.
Right. But, and that's what I mean by Misandry. It's okay for her to do that. You can see this guy. I don't know when that happened, but you can see like kind of chill out. And her response was like, "F that. I'm gonna push the envelope here."
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because it's like, I would say media, more so in media, they're painting this narrative that, and even real life, you can't do certain things to me, but if I do it to you, it's not as bad, it's not as harsh, and I'm not going to face as much consequence, if not any, if I do the same thing to you. So if you hit me upside my head, you'll probably be out in handcuffs. But if I do that to you, well, maybe she had a reason, or they were just arguing because I'm a woman and I'm weaker than you, so it's not like you were really hurt type of thing.
Let me use this for an example, and I appreciate you saying that. Let me reverse this, because now I got quote unquote custody of my son.
You do?
Yeah, I've been having it for the whole year.
Like, you have full?
Yeah.
So good for you.
No. But let me reverse this. So if I was to make sure he has little to no communication with his mother and alienate her from him,
Right.
and put her on child support, and then ask for an increase every time she does something, and if she has a boyfriend and she seems happy, take her to court, you know, that would be the norm if the shoe was on the other foot. Like that's literally you can consider that the norm. If I were to tell him every chance I got, she don't love you and she don't like you, you ain't gotta listen to her, and da 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 da.
So it's not the norm for you to do that. Why? Because, and I'm just expanding it, women are way more emotional than men. First of all, you can't really conceive, you personally, a man like you cannot conceive yourself of constantly dragging a woman back and forth to court for child support. No, just give me my son so I can take care of my business and move on. But the thing is, the reason why women do that is because women are more emotional than men. So everything that you laid out that she used to do towards you is because of emotions. I'm upset with him, we ain't together, and he seems happy, so how can I make him miserable because I am? Like, that's all being part of being emotional. But at the same time, you are harming your child. So then you add on, you are a selfish person. So a lot of things women do, they do it because we are more emotional than men, to where men are more logical, right? Like, we have logic, you have emotions, but just to contrast the two. But sometimes our emotions take over our thinking so much that we are harming people around us, particularly our children. So now you had to do what you had to do to have custody of your son. I don't know if you're going to do what she did to you, but me knowing somewhat of you, I don't think you are. But that is a great analogy. That is a great point you just made. But is it normal in society to see a man do that? No. But is it normal for a woman to keep dragging you through the courts? Yes. And one is acceptable and one is not. How long did it take for you to get custody? How much money you had to spend on a lawyer? That's a headache too.
It's not. Part of what I'm saying is this. That's a norm to the point that nobody sees a problem with it. See, when you talked about sexism earlier. That type of sexism isn't considered sexism. Sexism is viewed as sexism when it's man to woman, but it's not viewed as sexism when it's woman to man.
Wait, what was that first thing you said?
That it's a norm?
Yeah, that is a norm.
Yeah,
no,
like
this is a norm.
It's a norm because what I just stated is a norm. Like, this is not something that I could go through, because when it's to the point where when it's normal that you can do something towards a man and he's expected to just take it on the chin because he's a man, even if it affects his children.
Right. That's not right.
Then we got a problem.
So let's add in the courts and the custody system, child support system and everything. Who's benefiting, right? So the women exactly. So the courts, come on, these judges, they're not stupid, but they know they can make money off of women being overly emotional. Because they know whether this is a good guy or not, whether you handle your responsibilities or not, she's still, when the relationship is over and they have a kid together, she's going to bring him into my court and get child support, which means the court, the state, or whatever, they make money. It's about money. So if they can make money off of women's emotions, which is why the way we spin, they're going to do that. They're going to make that acceptable in society. They're going to make that the norm. And so now when men are trying to fight back, They're trying to fight back against the system that was set up to push them aside and you know, and to not think about the kid, but to make profit. And you have to make profit by making a woman believe she is a victim and she's doing the right thing, putting this man on child support, relying on the government.
Let me add something to this. And you know, we can be on opposite ends of the spectrum. It doesn't bother me at all. How a man calling a woman's job to make sure she gets fired because he got done wrong. Is that something that you hear often?
No, but men have done that.
No, I know. I'm sure men have done it, but
that's not the norm. It's not the norm.
Right. But when a woman does it, it's she got hurt.
Stressed.
Can I tell you something that happened to me this week? True story.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from my past has mental issues. They really do. They actually do have mental issues, diagnosed, they need medication. They called the police to come to my house and said there was a fire.
Oh.
I haven't seen this person in maybe 3 or 4 years. I haven't talked to this person in maybe 2 or 3 years. We haven't been cool in years. But this ain't the first time they called the police to my house. But the police know, like, it's a woman, she's got mental issues, so they keep letting it slide. And I get it. But then I don't get it, because if it was me calling, I'll be locked up.
Yeah, and knowing that you have mental issues and all, they still would have locked you up. They would put you in they would put you in the mental part of the prison or a separate cell. Story time by L.A.R. But let me ask you this, L.A.R. though, because you know you do tell stories, you know, about your life, interesting stories, you know, about your past relationships. A lot, and then I have interesting stories, but then I got, you know, whether it's crazy or not, but why is it seems like women have the issue too, but I'm just focused on the men. Why do you keep selecting a certain type of women because you keep having these issues? And I'm not saying you specifically, but I'm talking about men in general, so I am going to include you. But just men, y'all do pick, some men have a certain type, and so you figure, I don't even think you're conscious of it, but then you're wondering, like, I broke up with her because of this, I ended up breaking with her because of that, and it's kind of the same narrative. Like, are men egos that big that you can't take a step back and see, okay, what am I doing wrong? What type of women am I attracting? No,
okay, so if I'm gonna keep it a buck with you about this, which I am, I don't have personally, I'm not really a type person. Cause you know, I was one of those people, I want to try everything at the buffet, you know, when I was younger. But here's the thing. And because I can't say that. I do have a type, but I wasn't held close to I didn't date my type over and over and over and over.
Your type was more physical. You had a physical type.
Yeah, I had a physical type.
Because you said it.
No, I have a physical type, but I didn't even date my physical type over and over and over again. I would still date, you know, outside of that. But what I'm getting at is this. Across the board, there's a fundamental lack of respect for Black men when you're dealing with Black women. And okay.
Pause, unless if you could remember what you was going to say, because I want to dissect that, because I agree with you, but that came about because it's a lack of disrespect towards Black men, universal. Nobody likes you. So that's just not on Black women. That didn't start with Black women, but they are contributing to it, but nobody likes you. And I'm like, do you understand that?
Yeah, but the thing about that is, as a black man, you mitigate. I'm not gonna pay you to dislike me. So that's where we have a issue, because you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but there are a lot of brothers who are who brothers don't go out. Brother, and the older you get, the more selective you get with your time and your money and in your situations. You're not gonna go places where you're gonna be disrespected and pay for that.
Right.
So there, the disrespect with sisters, it's this: I don't like you, and you're gonna pay for me to not like you. And they can't really comprehend when guys say, no, I'm not.
Well, a lot of, honestly, I would say a lot of men live that way. They do pay for the disrespect because they go home to the disrespect every night.
That's the thing, though. Like I would say, over the last 20 years, they've been less and less brothers going home to disrespect. They would rather be alone.
Times has changed as far as marriage and stuff, yeah, and that's part of the reason why. But who's the 300-pound what?
300.
And the blue hair ratchet that works in, it's the doctor, it's the CEO of Weeds R Us, it's the chick that work at Bojangles. Her behavior isn't narrowed down to the type.
You're just saying the disrespect doesn't.
No, I mean, well, yeah, it's not narrowed down, but I think like you have a type, another man may have a certain type, meaning the type with attitude and her behavior. Let me
do it this way. Because I know, you know, as a woman, and we're around the same age, you know, you AARP, I'm still sexy though, I'm still sexy.
I'm not AARP, honey.
I know, I'm being petty.
I'm free.
You pre-menopause. Almost there, but you ain't hit there. No. Here's the thing. If I was a man that dated you and I was still in my too short phase, well, my favorite word was to call you that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, I really like her, but look, this is just how I talk, baby. But then I realized, you know, I kind of like you. But then here's my problem. I don't like the fact that you like you.
You don't like the fact that I like you?
No, I don't like the fact that you like yourself. I don't like the fact that you like you.
Why?
So I'll leave you because you liking you is not conducive to me using you.
Okay.
So as time passed, I quote unquote grow up and I want to come back and say, hey, big head. You know, I know how I talked to you and treated you back then, but listen, I might have cussed at you and disrespected you, and it was all out of love. But now that I've put on a probably about 75 more pounds, and I make less money than I used to, I know you're the nice type. You're like my, you know what? I'm your Sierra and you my Russell Wilson. And I know you are such a forgiving person that you're gonna take me on, you know, with my, you know, my uncouth behavior and maybe my erectile dysfunction, and maybe I might need a buck or two out of your retirement. But you're gonna let me look, you gotta accept me as I am now.
Some women do that.
But if you don't, you bash it. You don't like your father. So we gotta.
I see your point.
And you need to be faithful to me while I try to get myself together. Because if I get myself together, I might not be faithful to you.
But I know, I see what you're saying. But so let me just push back on that though. because this is a sexist society, men automatically, you have a role to provide. So whether I make less money or not, you still gotta be the provider.
But do I?
What you gonna do? Yeah.
Cause see, by what's I'm supposed to be the provider if I'm dating you, if I'm your boyfriend, or if I'm your husband. You're supposed to be my piece only if I marry you.
Well, I don't agree with that because the piece got to be there from the beginning and it has to be consistent. But I get what you're saying to where some women saying, well, I'll give you all that stuff after you marry me. And that is the BS, but a lot of y'all men fall for it. So
But when we don't
are you going to blame somebody for finessing you? Or you want to blame yourself for being finessed?
You know what, Dan? I so appreciate you saying that way. Because if the shoe was on the other foot and I knocked the bottom out of your cervix and left you, are you going to blame me for finessing you?
Right, women get finessed too. Yes.
Oh, but we dogs and we no good and we're users.
It depends. If you left me with a baby, that's more harder on me than it is you, because men could pop a baby in a woman, I can easily walk away. So it's like, first of all, everybody got to go and take an L, especially in this dating world. But right. Do I have to keep being finessed by the same person or a different person and a different person? No. So we're going to get finessed once or twice, sometimes maybe 3. But you gotta eventually wake up and you have to look at yourself and take accountability and blame yourself for that second or that third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. And that goes for men and women. But I think where I'm coming from is a lot of men don't admit when they've been finessed or that they keep allowing themselves to be finessed. Like, y'all keep that quiet. So then you'll use the Manosphere platform to vent. You know, that's your space to vent. But what are you doing to change it?
That's the thing.
Let me just elaborate a little bit on that. Because women are not trying to change because they know they have, whether it's the court systems or society, media, social media, or the media kind of in their favor to a certain degree. But when I say, what are you going to do to change that? What are you going to do with you men to actually come together and organize and get some changes done, whether it's through the courts, legal, or creating your own image of how you want to be seen?
Here, you know what? Here's the interesting thing about that. I think women don't realize that men have made changes, they just didn't go through the court. See, we already know if I go to the court, I already know I'm in a negative situation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stamp out the court before I get to the court. So now there is no court, because if I go to court, you got home field advantage. But if I never go to court, you don't have home field advantage.
But the courts are always there at my leisure.
No, the courts aren't always there at your leisure. Because if I only get involved enough to not go to court, we're good.
But that means I accept whatever you're doing so that we don't go to court. And honestly, if me and you have a kid or, married or whatever, why are we involving the courts in something that me and you need to be discussing and figuring out? So, and honestly, if you know what's, and then like you were saying, if you do certain things so that you could avoid it, but a lot of times if you know that she's just a bitch and, you sometimes going to court is in your benefit if you have a good lawyer walking in there with you. A lot of men do not. They don't take the time out to understand the law, their rights, and they don't have money for a lawyer.
No. Well, you're right, because too many guys have been down that road. But here's what I'm going to say to you. I have a sports car. right? You know what I'm not gonna do? Yeah. You know what I'm not gonna do in it? I'm not gonna go around speeding all day long because you can hear my car coming from a ways away.
Well, if you got what kind of sports car you got, honey? Because it's supposed to hum like a purr like a cat.
It growled real loud. I've been pulled over because I got an engine in that thing.
Okay, did you do something to your engine to make that loud noise?
It was already tuned. I got it already tuned. But I've been pulled over before because cops heard me coming. Like, listen, I can hear you coming. So if I catch you speeding, you know what I'm gonna do to you. So here's the thing. If I know I don't want to be caught speeding, what I'm not gonna do is put myself in a speeding ticket situation because they're gonna double, triple me up just by the sound alone. So it's the same thing with guys going to court. What I'm not gonna do is get caught up in this ticket. Because don't get it twisted. And what I'm about to say is gonna suck. Just for the record. Men are looked at as having a low moral compass, but in practical application, we deal with women who have a low moral compass, and everybody can be, there's always an excuse for low morals with ladies. My feelings is hurt. I got finessed. I thought you did this. You disrespected me. My auntie back in the day got cheated on by Cleophas, so I'm not gonna let nothing slide. It's that.
Men do have a low moral compass when it comes to certain things. Yes, you do. Men. I'm not even putting that just on black men. Do women? They can have low moral compasses as well, especially nowadays. It's just that they hide it, and it's not talked about as much in society. So men and women now in society have low moral compasses. It's just that yours is talked about publicly. And sometimes they gotta show it. And because that's what I'm saying with the sexism. A lot of your low moral compasses that y'all can display out in society is not judged if we display ours. That's why women do theirs in secret.
But that's why I actually went live today. Thank God for social media, because women's low moral compass has been on social media for a decade now.
But it's been accepted. I guess you meant like the showing the body and.
No, not just showing the body. The same thing that Jada just did. The women who disrespect their children. The women who lie and get caught. The women who how can I say this? Set people up on camera. The women who tell their kids to do things that are unscrupulous. The women who got caught teaching their children how to steal for them.
Are the women putting it out there themselves, or is it somebody keeping them and putting it out there?
For the most part, they're putting it out themselves.
For clout, I'm thinking that when the examples that you're giving, I always say they're being filmed because everybody's filming each other. You have social media and putting it out there, exposing people, to whereas men don't have to be exposed because y'all just gonna let it all hang out. But
yeah, but that's the thing. Even on social media, I would say the difference between men and women on social media now is that if a man's on social media doing something ridiculous, he knows it's ridiculous, and people know it's a certain type of guy that'll do something that dumb on social media. What we're seeing with women on social media is they're doing something across all classes and races. You know, like they have, like
that's true. It's just that the class thing, right? On all classes, it's the same thing, but it just may be portrayed a little differently. But I get what you're saying.
So, like, you're not gonna see. How often are you gonna see your dentist just popping his stuff on the camera? But you see your dental hygienist doing it.
Right.
How often will you see your doctor doing that? But you see the nurse doing it.
Well, the men doctors or the men hygienists that do it, they're usually gay. So
I ain't talking about them.
But
I'm talking about straight
men don't twerk. Now,
whatever the equivalent is.
Let me just say this, because I gotta be fair, because that's my sign, Libra sign with the scale sign. Whether you're a gay or a woman or not, the point of, I guess you're trying to make, why are you doing something salacious and you're supposed to be a professional? Like the cute.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you're not gonna see guys in military uniform doing something sexually suggestive, but you'll see a woman in military uniform doing something
but I get what you're saying.
It's like that level of unprofessionalism. Like if you can, if you wouldn't want to do a video with your. I've seen female police officers. Let me get it up, lady. Since it's not a crime going on. This is not time to go live and make your cheeks clap. This is not the right time to do that.
I get what you're saying. So it's just like. And I hate to say it this way, but I have to say it this way. Sometimes women do it to themselves, or you open up Pandora's box. Like, if you do something or if you display yourself in a certain manner, don't be surprised if you get something back in return that you don't like.
Right. Like if I see a guy and he wants to be really hood, and if he puts himself in a hood situation, I know what he just did. You know how when we saw guys on social media counting money, smoking weed, talking about they've been trapping while the police has been kicking in the door, and they live like, oh God, what just happened? Like nobody's gonna say, bruh. But we don't see a black doctor doing that, a black lawyer doing that, a black soldier doing that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't see a black police officer.
Whereas it's acceptable for women on all class levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where, and that's what I mean by Misandry, because you.
And it's acceptable. It's allowed, and it's like, it's like. What is that? Black girl magic, black girl rock thing. That's what people would say in the comments. Hashtag listen to black women. It'll be all this all this positive stuff cheering her on because she's feeling herself and liking herself. That's how they're projected. But
right, like here's an interesting thing. And this is what I mean by Manosphere bad, Misandry good. What you just said a few earlier about the guys who you would see act a little wild, they're probably a little, they probably like men. The men that act a little too wild like men. Women will add gay men into a straight man conversation to go see how men act. But if we say listen.
I don't think women would do that. I don't do.
Y'all do that all the time.
You didn't have heterosexual men.
Yeah, y'all do that all the time.
Well, give me an example of that. Because we will look at gay men as, especially if he's femme, to be one of us, not one of you.
But if you have a conversation with him, he'll talk to you about what men do as if he's heterosexual.
No, but he knows, because
no, he don't.
Even though he's gay, don't. And even though he's a femme gay, he's still a man.
No, he's not.
And then his partner could be a masculine man.
No.
And then he probably deal with men who are claiming to be heterosexual.
No. That's somebody in the closet.
So then that's like me saying a lesbian can't speak for heterosexual women.
So I'm glad you said that, because Ellen DeGeneres can speak for your dating experience and what you think and feel dealing with men.
But she's not. No. She's not talking about men. The gay guy's talking about his own. Ellen will be talking about her own women, us.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's
So
the
that's
same
just
thing.
like, that's like, so that would be, but that's just, so that would be Ellen talking to you about being a woman.
And I'm not going to listen to Ellen talk to me about, because Ellen don't date men.
But she dates women, and she is a woman.
Right. So I'm not good. So the only women that she dates are women who like women. So she don't count to listen to.
But the gay guy is still a man, and he dates men, and he knows heterosexual men, and you know.
No, he don't.
Men are men to a certain degree, even though he's femme. But the fact is that I'm pretty sure he dated down low men who live a life of heterosexual but sleep with him.
So all of the men ain't heterosexual.
No.
All the men you talking about ain't heterosexual. All the men are Omari Hardwick and For Colored Girls.
That's exactly my point.
Them ain't heterosexual men.
He lived a life as a heterosexual.
No, he did not. You can't be in a closet and heterosexual.
He said it. I'm a man. No matter who I'm saying, I'm a man. And he was a masculine man. He's still a man. Men, this is what I find with men who are gay. They know how men operate.
No, they don't.
Because they are men, like gay men, even, okay, let's just take heterosexual off the table. Gay men, their relationships are not like heterosexual relationships because they don't have to deal with women in an emotional aspect. Gay men, a lot of them have open relationships because they know as a man, we have a strong sexual appetite. We know that whether you sleep with men or whether you sleep with women, you have a strong sexual appetite. That's something general across being born a man.
Like Pablo, like, what? No. You have a strong sexual appetite for what?
For sex.
No. What kind of sex?
It doesn't matter, but it's just sex.
Oh, it does. Oh, yes,
so the fact is that he knows, like, we gonna have to have an open relationship because we just like fuck a lot. Let me explain. Heterosexual man, you can't say that to this heterosexual woman because we are emotional.
Listen. Now I'm gonna use two different men, two different races, right? George Michael and R. Kelly have had high sexual appetites. You telling me you gonna listen to George Michael about what R. Kelly's doing?
I'm pretty sure George Michael will have some good insight to say, listen, you should leave him alone because he likes to sleep with underage. And men will screw anything.
Now, I'm glad you said that. Now that you said that, I'm glad you said that. Because you're talking about, wait. Because you're talking about a person from a group that will have a child at a pride parade in a thong dancing and people think it's okay.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But you'll take it right. He liked them young.
But the fact is that so let's just take the George Michael thing. So George Michael's can he say about R. Kelly, be careful with him. He likes to sleep with underage, whether it's girl or boy. Now, that same George Michael, he can say the same thing about the gay men he sleep with that like to sleep with underage.
But you ain't gonna listen to that. You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna listen to that.
It's still talking about men, whether you sleep with men or whether it's men that's heterosexual.
Listen. How about I'm gonna do it another way? If I want to date you, I'm not gonna ask Queen Latifah.
That's the thing. Why not? She's date nothing but women. And she is one. So you could get a whole lot of insight because she is one and she date one. So someone got to be the bottom. How you deal with it? Even though, and then on top of that, I'm a woman. So even though I'm a lesbian, I'm a woman, but I still have all these emotional hormones. I still got to go through menopause, and I'm dating women. So I know a whole lot about women. I know a whole lot about the women who live their life as heterosexual. until I turned their ass out, and now they're
no. Let's take it a step further. Would you take dating advice from Bruce Jenner? Because he still date women.
He's trans.
No, but he still date women.
That's not gay. And that's
he still date women.
I will not. He's trans. Transgender is not gay, and that's on a whole other planet. So they're more. No, they're more. They have more mental. They have gender dysphoria, mental issues going on.
This is a problem. I
would not listen to a transgender person when it comes to relationships.
And that's how men feel about homosexual men. They're in the same boat.
Listen, a friend of mine, we was hanging out last night because I was going to do a show on my platform tonight, but I'm going to do it tonight because I got to stay up real late for Formula One. But anyway, we were out. He loves to be on Facebook, like, because people put all the crazy videos up on Facebook. And it was, I guess it was like a bar or whatever, and there was these two men dancing, and one of them was clearly thin, and he had a big old round booty, and he was like, and doing his, but the guy he was dancing with, he acted and looked heterosexual, but he was dancing with this femme gay guy, so you know he was gay, but he was the masculine one, and the other one was femme. And my friend was like, you look at this homo shit. And he was like, I said, what would you do? He was like, if that nigga came up dancing near me, I'd knock his ass out. I said, no, you wouldn't. You just get up and walk to the other side.
What's interesting about this topic is this. For some odd reason, women assume that gay men and straight men hang out at the same places.
I don't think, no,
we don't.
We don't think that. We know you don't.
But y'all don't realize we're not at the same places. We don't do the same things. We don't have the same lifestyle.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
Okay.
We don't have the same lifestyle.
Majority of the time, yes. But I live in the tri-state area. You talk about New York City. There are, especially with this younger generation, they do all hang out together. I know plenty of gay guys that have heterosexual friends and they go to the clubs, the lounge, and the bars, or whatever. So, no. But there is a gay community to where you have gay clubs or whatever, right? And then which is separate from everyone else. But the way society is now, everyone is blended together, especially up here.
That's up there. That's up there.
Too. And then probably some.
No, yeah.
And then
course.
I mean, I'm pretty sure in Houston, like,
they have their own. They have their own.
You have no friends that just so happen to be gay.
I know people.
Well, do you
What,
have?
are they my friends?
Okay,
no.
But do you have a lot of? Do you have friends? Period. And I'm not being funny saying that because I don't really have friends like that.
Yeah.
But what if your best friend, your man best friend, came out and told you he was gay? Would you stop being friends with him?
I disown you.
I'm serious. Would you?
Would I stop being? I'll be looking at him so crazy. Like, what?
That's your best friend. And then what if he said, "Listen, I've really been gay all my life. I just."
You remember how the water was glistening all over your body?
Would you stop being his friend?
No, I wouldn't stop being his friend, but we wouldn't be hanging out as much.
Does he know anything less about being a man or about men?
Yeah.
No. You, first of all, okay.
You know what this is like? I'm going to tell you what this is like. Hold on.
Friendship.
I'm going to tell you what this is like.
Wait. 20 years of friendship. And this man finally had enough courage to tell you I'm gay. And I've really been gay all my life, especially my adult life. But you just found out. So now you want to say, well, he never knew anything about men or about being a man because now I know he's gay. Come on.
Yeah. You off the team. You got cut. You got to go. Let me tell you what you women don't understand. Black men, as a black man, the one thing that aggravated me the most is going to a urinal.
A what?
A urinal.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because non-black men will, I just want to see if it's true. To the point where...
Wait, what happened?
I didn't like going to urinals because non-black men have a habit of...
Are you serious?
So it's to the... Let me explain something to you. It's to the point where after a while, they started putting a divider or a wall in between the urinals because it got so awkward.
You experienced that?
Most black men, most black men have had the gun, have had the police pull them over and put a gun on them, and had somebody stare at their meat while they're trying to use the bathroom.
And who are non-black?
Yeah.
So Asian, white.
Yeah.
What about Indian men?
Look, it don't matter.
Really?
It don't matter. So it becomes a...
That's a good question to ask too. But I wouldn't know because I'm not a man. But y'all don't talk about that.
Because y'all think our experience is the same. Y'all think our experience the same.
We don't know your experience because you don't communicate.
I appreciate you saying that.
You don't communicate.
And that's the point. Because when we communicate, we go through how can I do this, Dana? As a black man talking to a black woman, I know as a black man how to fix all black women's problems.
You know as a black man how to fix all black women problems?
Yep. Because 90% of y'all biggest issue has to do with y'all hair.
Why don't you
your self-esteem.
Why don't you start a hashtag listen to black men? And you should have a show on your YouTube, Listen to Black Men. Because what you just said, and I'm listening to you, what you just said, I would never have thought that. Like you said that's not traumatizing, but that did affect you.
No, all black people. It's not. We don't get affected like people think.
Annoyed.
But we get tired. Exactly.
Yeah.
We get tired of weirdo behavior. Right. That's what I mean by when if you listen to a guy who's homosexual, he's not a man to us because he's part of weirdo behavior.
Okay, wait a minute, stop. Because is it the homosexual that's looking at you?
They do that too.
Non-black.
No, they do that too.
So don't blame it all on homosexual, but non-black homosexuals?
Non-black heterosexual males.
And non-black homosexuals.
And black and non-black homosexual males.
How do you know he's homosexual? The black one. Is he femme? Or is he just the black man that's looking at
let me explain this to you. Let me explain this to you in general. Guys know when a guy like guys, and you know what immediately happens?
I'm talking about
we get out of their way.
Okay, so you're at the
we just like, listen, I just don't want to feel like dealing with this.
So you're at the urinal stall, and if it's a black man that is looking, then you know he's gay. You've had that too.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, it was the non-black that was looking, then it was a black man that was looking. Right,
because majority of the time, when you're younger, you go places and you don't expect it. Like if it's my first time going to a nice restaurant, I'm not expecting a guy to pull you get what I'm saying? I'm not expecting that because I'm 22, 25, and the last thing I'm thinking about is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what do you say when they do that?
You kind of like, what is your problem? Because see, we have etiquette just like that. Like when you got to understand, we've had the experience where we've walked into an empty bathroom and they're open urinals and they might be 8 urinals, and you're at one and a guy will walk all the way next to you.
I think
And
I
like,
heard
what
that
the
before.
Like, what are you saying, bro? It's weirdo behavior. So we don't like weirdo behavior. And even going with the topic, weirdo behavior is acceptable if a lady's saying weirdo things about a man. But it's like we're like, no, look, I'm not part of the circus, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes the issue, because we don't, the same way y'all, like, if you went to a football game, you like to see the guys in tights. If I go to a football game, I want to see somebody get their head knocked off.
Well, no, I'm not trying to see nobody I don't go there to look to see them in their pants stains, but I am going to glaze at the front part. But I don't go there just for that.
No, but I'm just saying, like, like the same way, and I talked about this recently, the same way when you talk about sexism, when men get objectified, we're cool with it when it comes from women. We're not cool with it when it comes from men.
So to that point, when we get objectified, I mean, to the most, depending on how you objectify us, women would take it as a compliment. When a woman, a lesbian, do it to a woman, we don't mind that either. To whereas with men, you have a problem. Hey, Faith, you have a problem when a non-heterosexual man objectify you. Or just a man object. You have a problem if a man objectify you, but women don't have a problem if a women objectify us.
But that's not true. Because
I'll give you an example, because I never saw a woman complain about a lesbian objectifying or giving her a compliment. Objectifying women, that's less.
You know what it is.
Women, period, have a problem with being objectified, but we like compliments. So
like, I was laughing maybe about a year ago. So my lady cut her hair off like a year ago. She did something and she said her curl pattern got messed up, so she had to cut it down. And I laughed because I said, once you cut your hair short, you about to get hit on. And she was like, no, I'm not. So she went to work the very next Monday. And she said, I was in a gas station and this woman was flirting with it. I said, listen, I told you.
Really?
Once you cut your hair short, you part of the, you part of the Rainbow Coalition. Like that's a choosing signal. So with guys, that's not we're not like that. Like, it's like, say, like we have kind of a barrier. Like, you're not really gonna, like, even talking in that, I can tell you for a fact that gay guys are nervous around straight guys because they know if they really try to cross that barrier, we might break something in their face.
What barrier would that be?
The barrier is women have this thing where with y'all sexuality, y'all are fluid. Guys are like, yeah, listen, have you ever thought about, I'll break your neck? Like, that's how we are.
If it came from a gay guy, you would have that reaction, or?
Yeah, like, we can talk to people, but we're not gonna, but don't try to push up, because you might wind up pushing up daisies. That's not a place to go with us.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We don't have a problem with a conversation. We don't have a problem with joking around.
Honestly, from what I experienced, gay men don't push up if they know that you're not gay. They know that I'm not going to talk to him that way because he's not part of my crowd. He's not part of my tribe. because you could talk to your tribe that way. So gay men, they know, and a lot of times they, you know, dependent, especially if they don't really know you like that, they're not going to. I'm generalizing it because there are some that's just too comfortable, but they're not going to, yeah, like you said, like push up or just be way too comfortable unless they know you. But other than that, in general, they don't do that. They stick to their own tribe with that, or with women.
So, let me say this. I was clowning a date actually with a friend of mine. So I ain't ish for this, right? So I got some friends, and one interesting thing that I will clown with my friends is my female friends. My female friends have a tendency to dislike men when their pockets is fat.
They don't like men who have money?
No, they don't like men when they got money.
When they have money?
Right.
Okay.
So I used to clown them. I'd be like, okay, now, because you got money.
But go back, Jay Preach. That you do have a point there. Because I am going off my experience with my generation and older. But that is true with this Gen Z. But go ahead.
Yeah, like, so when I talk to my friends, like, you know, my female friends get tired. And this is what I meant, kind of part of the topic, but I kind of pivoted a little bit because I was thinking about something. The ladies that I know like being independent, but they get tired. And when they get tired,
they don't like to talk to men if they have money.
Right. But when they feel like they're up and they're winning, and when they're all on the I don't need a man kick because look at what I'm doing, they like, you know, kiss mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But 5 years go by, 10 years go by, they get tired. They get tired of footing the bill. They get tired of, you know, they get tired of paying other men to do a job when they feel like I should have had a man already. Like women.
So then how can they not like men because they have money then if they get tired of doing all that stuff?
Because women have a fundamental thing when it comes off. Women who are independent, even at a certain point, don't even like taking care of themselves. They'd rather a guy do it.
Women who are independent?
Women who are independent get tired of being independent because they would rather a guy do it.
Oh, take care of them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe help.
It's a phase.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, you know, for guys, it becomes like, oh, okay, I get it now. You wanted to be strong and independent or a feminist because this was like the extension of college. And you didn't like me because you felt like you didn't need me because you had money. But now that you're tired of taking care of you, I'm supposed to show up and take care of you like you feel like you took care of you because you don't want to do it no more.
Well, when you come out of college, women don't have money anyway. So
that's what I mean.
Talking to someone old, a little bit older,
right?
In probably in their 30s,
no 20s,
whatever. So
no 20s to 30s, because when people get out of college,
they don't have money in their 20s.
No, but they get the entry level jobs in their 20s that was making more than they was making in college.
Yeah, but
now they can move to the city. Yes.
Oh, but you know what? Okay, so if you're in your 20s, you come out of college, you get your entry job, and you're able to live on your own and do what you want to do. That's fine. I think everyone should explore that, especially society is totally different now. Men in their 20s, they're not looking to settle down because they don't have They have an entry level job too. So,
but I've seen more men from 22 to 42. So my last 20 years, I've seen more men who didn't get cold feet than women. I've seen more men
cold feet towards what? To what?
Who decided that, you know what, I do choose you. I will settle down with you. I've seen more women bolt from that situation than I've seen men.
I've seen the opposite.
Fair enough. But I'm witnessing, ladies.
And I'm wondering, is it because of geographics where you live at? Because up here you have a whole bunch of women, a variety of women, and it's a whole bunch to do. There's always something to do. Why do I gotta settle down? I'm making money, I'm living my best life. I don't gotta settle down. I can have this one, and rotate or whatever. And then to a certain point, women are taking on that attitude as well. But I've seen more women wanting to get married in a long-term relationship than not. They're more so begging their boyfriends, oh my God, let's get married or let's live together or whatever. They're more so begging men for that commitment than running away from it. That's what I
got what you're saying. Okay.
Now, but again, I don't hang out with the Gen Zs. So
no, I don't either. But
maybe they're doing that.
What I mean in the general sense of what you're saying is, women say they want relationships and they want to settle down, but when they get with men that say, okay, let's do it, then they vote. They say they want it. When they get it, they vote.
Okay. That I will agree with you, because it's not when a man say, okay, let's do it, and then when she gets that yes, they don't run in. They run after they get that yes, and his expectations. She learns his expectations, and then she's like, "Oh, you want me to do this?" And then eventually I would say, yeah, she both, because she don't want to do what he's expecting of her to do. You want to be with me, this is what I require.
So part of what I mean about the mistake, like,
but the idea of commitment, women want that.
Right. Like it's normal for a woman to have an expectation that I can do the bare minimum with a man.
She wants a lot from a man. She wants.
I didn't say she wants a lot,
but she does. But she probably wants to give the bare minimum.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like the minute you have to do something for a guy, it becomes it's just too much.
I always say this though. I would even say this to be a little more specific. The minute you have to do something that he specifically wants you to do, what he specifically expects. Some men, here you want the standard thing, but some men may have a little list or a long list of other expectations. So, and she's probably like, I don't want to do that. But you have your list too. That's beyond the standard that you want him to do. And if he's doing the things on your expectation list, then you should be doing the things on his. But a lot of times women just still want to do that bare minimum.
And that's, for me, that becomes an issue as a guy. It's like, wait a minute. So if your list has, let me just be fair. If your list has 10 things and my list has 10 things, if I tell you I'm not doing 7 of those things, but I'm still expecting you to do at least 7 of my things, I would be considered a jerk.
Yeah, because so if we both got 10 on the list, why you want to do the 3, but I'm supposed to do all 10?
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying, if you want to take it that far, but for guys, that's a guy's norm.
Okay, so That's your norm to expect for me to do all the 10 while you
No, the reverse. My norm is for you to expect me to do the 10, and you look, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that, and I ain't gonna do this. You better get your mama to do it. I ain't gonna do this.
The norm is we expect for you to do our 10.
We're expected to chip in. If I give my 10 things for you to do, you're gonna say I need to help you do a bunch of those things.
We want to say that we need you, the man, to help us do it.
Right.
Which that makes no sense. Like what?
So if you want me to, if two of your things is protect and provide, right? I can't turn around and tell you, listen, I'm gonna need you to help me protect you, and I'm gonna need you to help me provide for you. But if I say I need you to cook and clean, you're gonna say I need you to help me cook sometimes during the week and help me clean up the house.
Okay,
sometimes during the week.
So she will want to compromise your list.
Yes.
And not compromise hers.
Yes. And this is a norm.
Mm-hmm.
So, for us, it's bashing if I told you, look, I'm gonna do these 10, you do those 10. That's misogynistic. That's sexist. It's sexist to expect you to do what I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sexist if I expect you to do and you think it's sexist if I don't do your things.
I think that
Sorry.
I can't get tired. I got a long night.
Bust it wide open for him. Okay.
No, Formula One comes on at 1 a.m. and that's 2 hours. Because they're in Australia. And then I want to do the live show. So I want to see how that goes. So that's going to 1, 2, 3. So probably like 4 in the morning. So I ain't going to go to bed till 5.
Oh man, you on your own, player. Yeah, you on your own, player.
Men have to do 10 of the non-minimum just to get in the door to get to the list to do the other 10 that she. Y'all don't have 10 on your list, and y'all really don't. Y'all probably have 3 or 4 things. A friend of mine told me this. He said I'm simple. I just want a good cooked meal. Her to dress feminine, and what did he say? He said a cooked meal for her to look pretty when they go out, and something else, right? It's like 3 things, but they were all
simple.
It was simple, but my thing was that's easy, but I didn't say it to him, but my thing was that doesn't mean you're going to be happy, because what you left out, you don't want a liar. You do want her to be trustworthy. You do want her to have some type of financial competency. You want her to be herself and not be a phony fake. So just more, y'all don't put character on your list.
No. See.
Well, he didn't. And I do. And people that I know, I noticed that they kind of have that same type of simple list, right? And nothing about her character.
And here's the problem. And I'm glad you said
this is why women finesse men with the bullshit.
And this is why men start to have a disdain for women.
But
hold on, just hear me out. And I get what you're saying about not putting character on the list. The problem with that is this. Since we were children, we've heard that you women have great character. You're the fairer species. You're more nurturing. It ain't just our moms. It ain't just our aunties. It's the young ladies in our age group who've always been victims to the Thanos lover who beat her to death.
Dad tell you? about the nature of women? And then were your mom honest with you about the true nature of women? Because you saying that, you know, the disdain for women, well, how can you start to have a disdain for women because of her disdain character, but you didn't ask for that. That wasn't on your list. So how can you have a disdain for something that you didn't even require? You got yourself to blame for that.
No. Okay, I'm about to be tried.
And I say the same thing about women too. But let's just focus on the men. You didn't require for her to be trustworthy. You just thought that, you assumed that that was just going to come with it because she was fit, feminine, and whatever the other thing is.
No. Here's the thing. Women are like white people. I'm going to tell you what I mean by this. When you go to school, you heard that white people are great. When you put on the TV, you hear that white people are great. You know, when you say, you know, oh, you know what? They're honest, trustworthy, hardworking Americans. That's what women are. They're white people. They're honest, trustworthy, hardworking Americans. And then what you find out is, no, they're not. And then you got critical race theory of women's behavior. And you see the history like, wait a minute. This lying, cheating, conniving little heifer. And then it's like, but you never asked me about my character. Didn't you just tell me you was an angel for 5 years straight and you never did
Why
these type of things?
that? Because you should know nobody's an angel. When a woman tells you, I never did that, or I don't do that, or I'm an angel, or I'm a Christian, best believe she done did the opposite.
And that's why people don't go to church, right? Because they didn't heard their lies so many times and then they got lied to in church so many times, we don't go no more.
But my thing is, because she has done the opposite at one point, that don't make her a bad person. What makes her a bad person is that you're covering up, lying about it, right? Or just not being honest about it. You don't have to go in details about it, which means you still have that distrustworthy character still within you. Like you put in you're going through this relationship with a mask on. Manipulation. That's part of manipulation.
Okay. And I said this prior to this, like right after this whole Oscar debacle, right? I said it's not gonna take her long to throw her husband under the bus. Now I use her as a thumbnail, but I'm speaking of what you're just talking about. Well, when I say Misandry is good, a woman to tell you she needs protection, and then when you protect her, she go, I ain't asked you for that. And then you're like, mother,
set the standard of protection.
You raggedy mother.
So why are you listening to her? You got to set that standard because she's not.
Because if I don't listen to her, if I don't listen to her, hashtag listen to black women. if I don't listen to her, I'm being sexist.
But this and this is what I mean to where men, you need to counter that hashtag listen to black men because you are the protector. So if you are, and I could never be, that means you have to set the standard of protection, not me. How can I tell you what to do with protecting me? And I can't do that. If I, like people always try to tell me what I should do on my YouTube channel, right? People in the comment. You don't know nothing about podcasting or hosting a show or just being on YouTube, but you want to tell me what I'm doing. So you can't tell me what to do if you don't possess it yourself. So why are you listening to women and not being a leader? You are the leader, you're the provider, you're the protector.
Because and this is where it goes kind of hectic, because a leader actually listens to the people he leads to figure out how to lead them better.
No,
but when you find out the person you want that wants leadership,
because you have soldiers. You're gonna listen to your soldiers tell you what to do. You're the general. You tell
No.
I can't. Why are you listening to me when I don't have the answer?
No, you're getting it twisted. I'm going to get to know my soldiers.
What?
You don't just tell a soldier what to do, and you real. This is why when you have soldiers, you have guys who do tanks, guys who are snipers, guys who do infantry, guys who do parachute, because you got to figure out what your soldiers are good at before you implement them.
Honestly, L.A.R, you're not being accountable right now, because it's just be accountable. You men need to be accountable and just say that when it comes to protection, a woman cannot tell you how to protect her. That is something that you should know and that you just have to do. You set the precedent of protection, not that woman.
Right. No. I dig what you're saying on that. What I'm saying is,
but we talk. Let's just take the Oscars for example. So when Will took it upon himself to do that, and if it was because when he looked at Jada, that means he allowed her to tell him how to protect her. And look where the fuck that got him. Instead of him being the man and the leader like he's supposed to be and dictating how he was going to protect her in that situation.
No,
why
that wasn't
her project what you should do.
No, I will always agree that wasn't protection. That was just somebody being stupid on a whim.
But listening to your wife.
Right. But you're supposed to listen to your wife. And that's the problem with, okay.
Wait, can you put that back up for a second?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
First of all, I think she's I'm saying you a female because you're saying sis. And if you are a man, then you a fem man.
You see that disrespect right there?
No, that's not
disrespect. That misandry.
No, let me break it down. I'm about to be very specific. I'm not your sis. That's condescending. So off the rip, you come in here condescending with a long dissertation message that has nothing to do with what we are talking about right now. But the sis, that irritates me. Sis, the SIS is condescending. If you say
watch this. Hold on. Watch this, Dana. Watch this.
I can't stand that. That's so condescending.
I'm gonna mute you because I'm gonna protect you to shut up right now. Because you don't know what you do. You know what? Ain't nobody got to listen to you. Let me mute you. Nobody got to listen to you because I'm protecting you right now for this bullshit because you don't know what you're trying to say anyways. Nobody has to hear your shenanigans right now. Now talk about what I'm telling you to talk about because what you talk about ain't nothing right now, okay? Now take this protection and move on to the next topic. I appreciate that.
That's sis shit. Oh. Yogi!
Oh man, what's happening? Thanks. So,
that's how you stay stranded because you got $2 to donate, baby. We're stranded because you got $2. Stop. Look, that's a trick. That sis is a trigger for me. Which is why. Let me just say this because I think it was last year when I was doing the Man Up Show on Thursdays, and this lawyer, he used to call into the show, and he was basically, I was so like just pro women, like yes, treated badly or just sexism, and you know when it comes to divorce, it's majority of the men's fault, and women just want to be a good wife, and then. He was a lawyer, not the lead attorney. He was just another regular lawyer comes to my show, and he was like, no, majority of these women, they filed for divorce. But it's not because, their man was so horrible. Their reason is they're tired. They want to date. They already dating. They were already cheating. And I tried to argue this man down, like, you don't know what you're talking about. And he was just like, I sat over 500 cases. I didn't realize this about lawyers, that they know people because they know all the business because they have to in order to defend you, right? I didn't know that they're like therapists. So, and then it wasn't until me and him was going back and forth, but it was probably a week or two later to where I was like, I said, I had to admit he was right. So over time, I had to get the wool pulled back from my eyes to just come out of that bubble of victimhood with women and understand that, you know, here in America, let me just put this, here in America, women do possess a lot of power, like as far as in being protected. But I will say this about women in general worldwide: if you are born a girl in this world, you are in a vulnerable position because we're not strong like that.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? The older I've got, I've ran into so many women who wanted to be strong, and their reasoning doesn't make sense to a man.
What are some of the reasons you heard?
It's kind of one of those things where she sounds like she wants to be Bruce Lee.
Was she ever assaulted at one point in her life?
I'm not okay, and I'm talking.
Maybe she didn't share it with you. But
there are women who were assaulted, and there are women who were never assaulted with the same MO.
Right. Well, me again, just looking at the situation now, being in an objective way. A lot of women, and they don't share this with their partners, a lot of women were sexually assaulted, and that's a big umbrella because it's different types as growing up. But come to find out, men too. It's just that when a man, you know, goes into manhood and you work out or you build strength so that you won't be assaulted again. And women, we will never physically have your physical makeup, but you do have some women who want to protect themselves, so maybe they feel as though they do have to be physically strong, and as far as their personality or attitude as well. But a lot of women throughout this world have been assaulted, sexually assaulted, before they even reach 18. A lot of times before they even reach 10, over and over again. I'm gonna
say this from a male point of view, right? When it comes to this, when you're over 18, because I know women who've gotten assaulted over 18, right?
Yeah.
And what I've seen as a norm with women who've been assaulted, that are grown, are women who want to feel strong and be strong, and they do things and put themselves in positions that men wouldn't put themselves in around other men. And right. It's like, why would you? So, true story, young lady I used to date years ago. She used to go out scantily clad. She was one of them thick body girls. Like, you know, she was, you know, we was in our 20s. She had that young Serena Williams body, right? So, but she would go out, super mini skirt, thong, you know, midriff, chest out, and she was thick like that. But she would like to get just wasted. But one of the things that she liked to do was she'd be wasted to the point where she's falling all over the place, but you can see everything on her because she's wet. You could already see everything on her anyways because she was wearing so small and so tight. She was so thick. It was, you know, but her MO was, I'm going to get drunk and I will be the guy that she comes by after she gets drunk. And sometimes I would see her out. But she had this thing about her where she would like to get drunk, get guys' numbers, and then tell them no. Mm-hmm. And it's like, listen, I would say, hey, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Mm-hmm. But no, I know what I'm doing. It's 12, 1, 2 in the morning. You can't keep doing this. Mm-hmm. It's not a good idea. And then she started going home with some of these guys and telling them no. And I was like, you better stop doing that. She's like, first time she got robbed. No, I'll take it back. First time her car got broken into at a guy's apartment complex. I was like, look, you might want to chill. That's a sign. Second time, she got robbed at gunpoint for all her stuff, and she was like,
because she said no.
No. She got robbed at gunpoint. She got her car broken into in the guy's apartment complex that she told no, and when she went out, her car was robbed. The second time, she was going to a guy's apartment to tell him no, and she got robbed at gunpoint at like 1 a.m.
But it wasn't by the guy she was with.
No, wasn't by the guy she was with.
Probably lived in the hood or something, or
no, it was just, you know how it was off the strip. You know how everybody has there's the party strip in town where people can go to, but they have the apartments like that. She was in that area all these times.
Right.
The third time she did it again, and because she kept doing this, I'm gonna tell you no and I'm gonna go home thing. She did it again and the guy took it. And from that point on, I hate men are dogs, and I'm like, listen. When I tell my guy friends, don't go in dangerous areas at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock in the morning, they know, bro, if I go there and I get shot, if I get robbed, if I get beat up, I know I shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not the only female I know like that. But like I know of another lady from Jersey. She used to always go out, party, because she was a single mother. But somehow she wound up getting roofied numerous times and waking up in hotels numerous times with multiple guys, and a couple of times they had a video camera. But she never said, and she said it was never consensual, but she was cool with some of the guys afterwards.
Yes. That's mental. Yeah, that's like mentally, so someone's mentally off. And then, but did she go around like hating men or having the disdain for men too?
Not as much, because in her situation, I think it was more so, how can I say this? She wanted to get a train ran on her without admitting it. Because this happened like at least 3 times. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she said it was, right.
And I think and then you bring it in a broad of things. Women nowadays in society, but like, well, that doesn't matter because she was violated. You can't blame the victim for putting herself in that situation because she was violated. And it's like, I get it, but I don't go out past 10 at my age. I get it. At some point, you have to know, you have to stop being gullible. You have to stop thinking that people have the best interest for you. And you have to stop thinking that because I'm a woman, you should know your place as a man. So yeah, if it's a crime that was taking place, then you deal with it in the court. For you as an individual, you have to look at yourself and say, can it have been done differently if I were to have went home, or if I didn't go? And I kind of don't like using that or saying that. You know what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't be raped because I'm with you 1 a.m. in the morning. But at the same time, if I'm doing something that is literally putting me in danger 1, 2, 3 times, something eventually is going to happen. Like the first story you told, talking about. So it's like, yeah, you have to be careful what you do, because some of your actions has consequences to it. But it was a crime. It could be a potential. Yeah. You have to be careful about what you do and how you put yourself in situations, because then a crime can happen to you. Like,
I'm gonna give you 2 examples of guys. And one's a crime, one she actually took it from. One guy I know, he's from Houston. He moved to the DMV. right? He was about to move to the DMV. Now, when I was a kid, I lived in the DMV for like a year. And I told him, I said, listen, bro, Houston is kind of a flashy place. I said, you can't take Houston to the DMV because you're going to get robbed. So he was, you know, it was early 2000. He's like, I'm H-Town, da. And I said, listen, do me a favor. Go to the DMV, tone it down for 30 days, and just look at your surroundings. Take the rims off your car, take the jewelry, put it up. Just go, when you go to the DMV, you know, don't go Houston flashy, because I promise you, if you do, you're gonna be a target. So he hits me up maybe about 2 months in, because I told him just to do it for 30 days. He was like, look, bro, I so appreciate that, because I promise you. I was like, don't be the guy with your windows open, banging the music, because I'm telling you, if you let them see what you got, they coming to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he took that advice, and he called me like 2 months later. He said, dog, I really appreciate you, because I promise you right, I would have got it. They would have really just, I was going to be food. But now I know this other guy, and this is the taking it part. And this is why it's kind of different when guys go through this. He ran into a bartender that he wound up knowing from high school, and they was catching up. She roofied him while she was the bartender, took him home. He woke up, and she was like, they had sex. And then she said she was pregnant by him.
But she actually raped him.
Right. But the baby wasn't for him. He had to come and find that out, because
it wasn't
baby.
him.
Right. So because he worked in tech.
Now, did he press charges against her?
He didn't find out the baby wasn't his until he took a DNA test when the baby was like 5 months old. So no.
What about with the roofie thing?
He didn't press charges with the roofie thing because she said she was pregnant.
Okay, but when he found out that it wasn't his, why didn't he file charges after that?
The baby was 5 months old.
No.
He got to the chivalry thing, like, I don't want to, you know.
But that's what I'm saying with men too, because it's like, okay, so I get it. Like, again, y'all just leave it alone. But
we're bad
if you keep leaving incidents like this alone, you don't have protection in the legal system or in society. Right. Because if he were to press charges, or the men that Cardi B drugged were to actually go and press charges, right? Then you have a record of that in these law books, and in this legal system, to where they're looking at both people. So now with the domestic violence cases, remember for many years, if a man and a woman is fighting, and somebody, whether he called or she called, cops come there and arrested a man, now they're arresting both of you. Before it wasn't always like that. And that is because, I guess, men started defending themselves and speaking up, like, listen, she attacked me. You know what I'm saying? So it has to come to a point to where, because of what is going on with the Me Too, and hashtag Listen to Black Women and everything else, it takes more than you getting on YouTube, creating a venting space, i.e. the Manosphere, talking about it. You have to
just roll your neck to Manosphere like that. I know you didn't.
No, but I'm saying, and then just even now in real life, right? Because YouTube isn't real, but in real life, you have to actually start fighting back so that you can have things on the books that's going to protect you. The government really don't care, but just like the police department, right? I always say, why is it that it's a certain street or area where there's a whole bunch of activities and y'all don't clear it out? He was like, listen, I found this out. It was like, if people were to actually complain that live in that neighborhood about what is going on, so at the end of the month, well, what police officers do, they have this meeting to where they round out, okay, how many complaints and phone calls we got, right? And in what area? So we know this is a hot spot here, so we're going to patrol this area more because we get a lot of complaints for this section of the city. So they're going to patrol that area more. to make your area safe. But what Black people in general don't like the cops, or they just don't want to snitch, or they just don't care. So then you keep having that same problem until you actually get up off your ass and do something about it. Now, women got up off their ass to do something about it, but then they just took it to a whole nother level and just saying, you know, I am women, hear me roar, not 2.0, but 5.0, and look at what's going on.
I wrote this in my book, right? Because at the time when I was writing my book, I had a lady friend. Well, she was my girlfriend for a short time, but she's real good people. She wanted to be a lawyer. And I told her, she was working a case, and I told her, I said, listen, and the crazy part about it is she was new to she had passed the bar recently. And she had worked the case where a young man had broken into a gun store and tried to steal guns, but it was his first offense and he was young. And she said his dad will take him in. Like if I get them to get if I tell him his dad will take him in, they probably drop the charges and send him with his dad. And I told her, I said, listen, what's gonna happen is if you tell a mother that, she's gonna tell her son to tell the judge that he don't know his father. Because his mama don't want him going with his dad because she wants either control or the benefit of having him there. And she was like, that's crazy. But what happened was she was walking up the hallway to meet him in the court, and she overheard them having that conversation.
Really?
And she called me that night and she was like, listen, how often does this happen? And I said, listen, the family court ain't that far from the criminal court. The same judges that give these mothers custody, they're cool with the judges that give their kids 15 to 20 years, 5 or 10 years later. They know exactly what's going on.
Wait, you said the mothers are fine with the judges giving the kids 15 years?
No, I said the same judges that give the mothers custody are cool with the judges that are in criminal court that give their children 5 or 10 or 15 years later. Right. They know exactly what's going on with these families.
Because I do know in New Jersey, they rotate those judges. One judge will be doing child support for 2 months, and then they'll go down the hall for domestic violence, criminal. Yeah.
So these situations, they're kind of like the same thing you were talking about with the neighborhood and the cops. I come from one of them neighborhoods where the cops didn't want to come to my block when I was a teenager. Like literally. And I know, and it was so bad. And I met a guy from Chicago recently. When I went to college, it was a true story. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep well the first semester of my freshman year in college because there were no gunshots. There were no police sirens. It took me a long time to go. And so the police wasn't coming on my block. I almost got arrested walking outside to go to practice as a teenager.
Why, they was having a raid or something nearby?
No. What if I told you I lived in a neighborhood at the time in the 90s where the police had to get disbanded and they had to bring in the state troopers.
No, I believe you because that was our generation. Like,
right.
You don't understand, and this is what I'm saying. Like, this generation now, everything is on social media. We didn't have that. Honestly, the things that was going on in our generation was worse. If they had social media, let's say in the 80s, and Star say this a lot on his show, and I have to agree with him on that. New York City in the 80s,
it's crazy.
Beyond it's crazy. It's not even a word. And I was a kid, and then that spilled over into the 90s. So can you imagine it was social media back then and all the shit that was happening. So
Yeah, a lot of people with life.
Yeah, like I get what you're saying. Like this is what they do now is just for stunting. Like they make shit up. So the era where we came from, yeah, that was very devastating. I think we all got PTSD and don't know it. Like, but that is a form of PTSD that you couldn't sleep.
But that's for me. Like this is part of the issue that I have. Like even like a lot like.
No, Jersey wasn't versus the Bronx.
No, yeah, I heard. Like, my older cousin is 10 years older than me. He's like my big brother. So when I was a kid from the 80s to the 90s, I rotated New Orleans, the DMV, and Chicago. And I wound up staying in Chicago after a certain amount of time.
So you went from ghetto to ghetto.
So my older cousin, he's like, You a triple thug, because people don't realize you were there. Like I was in New Orleans when it was the murder capital. I was in the DMV, you know, during the Marion, huh?
DMV, DC?
Yeah.
Arthur, Chicago.
Yeah, there too.
Damn. Oh yeah, you are the triple. You're a triple OG.
So I was in all three of those
in the
places.
90s or 80s and 90s.
From the 80s through the 90s.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have survived that, honey.
So what happened was, he's like, dude, I don't, you know.
So you was in DC with what's his name, Wayne Perry, and when Alpo was down in DC,
I was
and all
there
those bodies were being dropped.
When Doug Williams won a Super Bowl and Marion Barry got caught up, and they used to have a little the boosting place behind on Avenue E where they were stealing everything, and behind the firehouse where they were selling things because they'll steal cars and that. I was there.
Who was that black drug kingpin that was out of DC and he got locked up, and that's when Wayne Perry and Alpo started taking over.
Is that Melvin or Rayford?
I think Rayford. I think him. I don't know, but it don't matter. Like that. It was a shithole. So was Chicago, and you talking about Master P and them, like that part of Louisiana where they grew up.
Yeah, I was born in the Ninth Ward. We call, you know, everybody had a slogan. The Ninth Ward slogan was,
Yogi said Jersey worse. Oh, baby, we weren't worse like that. No.
So, and then, you know, in Chicago, I was there in the 90s, from the early 90s to the mid 90s. So, you know, it was
Rayful, yeah, man.
Yeah. And I ain't even gonna get into that story because if I said some things about that situation, I don't even want to bring that one up. But my older cousin, because he was just in New Orleans, he was like, dog, I don't. He's like, because I already had a bad temper as a child, so it was like, yeah. That's why I'm so calm. For the most part, I'm calm and chill because I can get really aggressive if I feel like it.
I can't picture you doing that.
I don't. It's a waste of energy to get really aggressive unless I'm gonna hurt you.
But would you? So I don't think you would get aggressive like that with a woman, though.
No, I don't get aggressive. Look, I keep telling y'all, like, I'm not a big guy. I can't get aggressive with people my size because I might kill them if they're men. Like one of my homeboys is actually in the chat, and they know he knows when I was a teenager and used to play sports. My nickname was Roids. They used to call me Steroids because I was uncanny. I was too strong for my size.
So you probably could have took on bigger men.
I did take on bigger men. I didn't mess with anybody my size normally because I would hurt them. I would play around, but I wouldn't really do something for real. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying
you had a rough childhood, basically.
Not really. To me, it was fun. You know what I'm saying? To me, it was fun because, you know.
No, Newark was terrible.
Yeah.
Camden, Trenton, but he's talking about DMV, New Orleans, where C Murder and them, and Chicago. come on, yo, let's talk about the Bronx. Like that was, come on, they outdid North and Trenton and Camden. Like we were bad too. You put us on the list, but they were at the top.
See, I was never a gangbanger. I was never a drug dealer because I was around drugs before the guys. Like by the time I got to Chicago, I was around drugs longer than the guys I knew who became drug dealers and gangsters. So I was around cocaine during Sesame Street days. See, so it wasn't a thing to me. And
then too, the South moves different. Like when they shoot, they gonna shoot and aim and hit you. To whereas up here in the North, they be bucking shots everywhere before it hits somebody, and they do a lot of this. So you move into the DMV or even Chicago, it was rough, but you probably like, I done seen some other shit, like, some more
like
serious.
My house was in Chicago. The last house I stayed, that was right next door to the trap house. Mm-hmm. Like I remember being on the phone with my best friend, and they was shooting, and he was like, "How are you still having a conversation? I'm on the ground and I'm at home."
Yeah, so you be ducking or something just in case a bullet come through the window?
No, because I got so accustomed to them shooting.
You knew where they were shooting in another direction, like.
No, they were next. Like they, you know how you have like now. I'm in my home now. It's a house next door. The split between the 2 yards. Mm-hmm. That's what they were shooting at. Mm-hmm. Oh hell! It wasn't like they were shooting up the block.
If I would have been on the phone, but on the floor.
I was
like call the cops.
This ain't the cops wouldn't come on my block.
Wow.
The one time I got arrested, that was the only cop I had ever seen on my block, and he was shook, and he wanted to arrest the first person he saw because he didn't want no problem.
I guess he wanted to arrest someone so he could leave.
Yeah. So it like my younger cousin, him right here.
Yeah.
Right. He came to visit me as a teenager in Chicago. Yeah, I love my homeboy. He came to visit me, and he's more of a suburban kid, but his brother made it to a deluxe apartment in the sky, so he took care of his mom and his brother and all that. But he came to visit us in Chicago. I'm Third Water, Magnolia, shout out to Calio, you heard? I went to football practice. I went to a workout because it's summer workouts, and I came back home, and he said, "Say, bro, I'm not going outside unless you're going outside. They crazy." I was like, "I thought you was Third Workout." He said, "They crazy, bro. Like my older cousin, his big brother, he came to visit, and he had back in the day, he had a souped up car. You know how they used to do paint jobs and all that? He was getting the paint jobs early. And he came, he parked in front of the house, and he looked around the neighborhood. He was like, and the guy said, "Man, you got a lot of bass in your car." My cousin pulled out a 45. "I got a lot of bass in my car." And it was like, what are you doing? He said, "Man, I see where you live at. We're not doing this today."
So wait, so the guy who was driving the car pulled out a gun?
No, my older cousin pulled out a gun on the guys in my neighborhood when they tried to compliment him having bass in his car. He was like, "No, I got a lot of bass." That's right. Because he knew, where I was at, it was like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I am.
So you compare that to what's going on today. Like everybody be pump faking on social media,
right?
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that, Facebook. Yeah, everybody's stunting. You got these old men in their 50s, like, nigga, sit down. Like everybody just stunting. Like this is not the 80s or the 90s anymore. Like everyone could kind of breathe and relax.
Right.
Yeah, calm down. I said I was going to do a show from 11 to 12, L.A.R, and I've been on your platform. Because I've been wondering, I had the thumbnail and everything for over a week. It was titled Jada the Judas. And I was going to put in the title, Will Smith flags my video, allegedly.
You trifling.
And then just explain how somebody flagged my video.
I'm sorry, I got you up. Like my lady, she about to go to bed, so I'm like, oh.
Oh, she texted you saying she about to go to bed. So that's your cue? Get off YouTube?
No, she's at her house.
Oh, she's at her house. Oh, well, that was cute. She texted you. Why she got to text you? She going to bed. In other words, are you calling me before I go to bed?
No, she told. Nah, she was here last night. I'm gonna see each other tomorrow. You know, I let her know I miss her and I love her and all that. I ain't gonna, you know.
Yeah, but my thing is, why won't you just let me know when that happens?
Oh, that's easy because it's not going to be none of your business.
No, but I'm just saying, like, that's just a polite thing to do.
I'll let you know like 5 years later.
No, don't play with me. At least let me know 30 days later.
Fair enough.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you did it or not already.
I didn't.
Yeah, but you told me that you would tell me no either way.
Yeah. Two things can be true.
What?
No, but I didn't.
Now that's a finesse line that men would say. Two things can be true.
Hey man, look, I learned a lot from a lot of lying ladies. Let me tell you, true story, ladies, and this is where y'all messed up. I'm gonna tell y'all this before. When I was a child, my aunt, back in the 80s, they called it a hairdresser.
She did hair?
She had a salon. And that was my aunt. So I was her little nephew, and I would, she would watch me from time to time. Y'all ladies were so trifling, and y'all still do this to this day. Y'all was saying the most outlandish, trifling things in front of children because the men wasn't there. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, really, Miss Cheryl? Mm-hmm. My mama good.
Did you ever listen to Jasmine Sullivan's last CD, Hotels?
That was the most trifling thing I heard in my life.
You heard the CD?
Yeah.
I love the CD. Well, first of all, Jasmine Sullivan could sing her ass off, so she could blow it. So I love the songs, but the interludes of the women having the conversations and the honesty, I appreciate that. Remember was the part where the group of women was like, this is what you got to do for your husband so you could get what you want and blah, blah, blah. Like, women are trifling.
The thing about that Jasmine Sullivan album that kind of goes with what I'm talking about is it was funny to me. Jasmine Sullivan and women like her, and I get, and she makes me laugh because it's like that album was kind of like having a gospel crack dealing album. Okay,
I like that analogy.
And it was funny because to me, that's how a lot of ladies think. It's like, I'm looking for a man who I can love for the rest of my life, but I'm gonna go suck off Pablo Escobar and he dogged me out and I can't believe it. It's like,
I like the one with
crazy, right?
With Ari Lennox. But I love the fact that when a woman owns her shit, and Ari Lennox, she was like, she was like, bitch, if you was to Google him, you'd be like, girl, you didn't know? She was like, yeah, bitch, but the dick was calling me, basically. Like, she was honest. And she was like, she went crazy because she knew this man was unhealthy for her. But the sex was so good. She put up with, she said, almost lost my career. But women do that.
I think that's I'll be fair enough to say men and women do that at a certain point. But the interesting thing about women to me as a guy is because there are less consequences for women in society, y'all actually sexually do things that even make men go, like, how could?
Because we know that that's what y'all want. Y'all don't really need us. And I was going to say this on my show tonight, but I got to watch Force at 12, and then Formula One comes on at 1. But y'all don't need women. We need you more than you need us. You need us to make babies with and to have sex. The basic necessities. You could be successful. You could still make all the money in the world. You could accomplish all your goals without a woman assisting you in any kind of way. You just need some ass and eventually kids when you want kids. That's what you. In a nutshell, women need men because, for example, the quickest way for a woman to gain wealth is marriage. That is a fact. Because once we have a kid, a lot of our career track slows down, and that's just nature. So who needs who more? And women goes with understanding, love, and affection. Y'all could bypass that for a very long time because of your makeup. You know, you're not as emotional and needy as women.
Yeah, but like I got a homegirl, right? And she did something one night that was so hilarious that she told me about.
Wait, can you hold that? Because I just thought of my...
Okay. Go ahead.
So, and this is what I was going to say on my show, as far as in conclusion to that statement, what women have to understand, we need to learn how to make you wanting sex and having babies. We need to learn how to make those two things our advantage. But go ahead.
And this is for the guys, even in the manosphere space. Women are mentally turned on. And the interesting thing, you shouldn't listen to a woman talk about what her type and what turns her on, because what ends up happening with a lot of women, the type of guy that they're turned on by, and he can be the antithesis of everything she likes. But because she likes the idea of what he is and can be, it turns her on more. And what I mean, even sexually, ladies will say they want a certain kind of guy. She'll say she wants a guy who's big, muscular, with swagger. But if she meets a guy with the swagger that she likes, he could be short, frumpy, and not packing, but the idea of his swagger turns her on, that she kind of overlooks it. And when I say that, I'm saying it to say this. This is this, like, one of my homegirls was so caught up in the aura of what she wanted her man to be, that she wanted to please him so much that she was like, you know what, I'm gonna get my homegirl to come through so you can have this threesome, because she gonna like you how I like you. And my homegirl was like, I watched them first, and I'm like, she was so turned, her friend was so turned on by the guy. He's like, I can't get turned on by this average ass dude with this average ass sex, and I see her eyes rolling by. Oh, it's like, I'm not living her fantasy. That's how she was like. She's
just the girl she brought in.
Yeah, like the girl she brought in is a friend of mine.
Right.
And she was like, the guy's below average in pretty much every way, even in that way. But her girlfriend is so in love.
Yeah.
But even for her girlfriend's taste. But it was just, he had the swagger that she liked. That, you know, sometimes ladies will see a celebrity they like, and a guy reminds her of the celebrity that they like. So then they just it was kind of one of those situations.
No, but that's fantasy.
Right.
Hey, Chaos. And that's some women do live in fantasy land in their brain. And then going back to your point with mentally, a lot of men, they just want to bust a nut so they can release, and they're not trying to
move on.
They're not trying to mentally seduce or mentally finesse, or just mentally stimulate a woman. And I think men should try that, mentally stimulate, because that way, that's going to be your defense so that she can't manipulate you.
I'm gonna tell you what's wrong about sex with men. When you're young, you just want to do all of your porn fantasies, but that doesn't mean you're good at sex.
There are men who are older that's still that way.
Well, I mean, some of those guys didn't get it out when they were young, and some of those guys
they got it out.
I'm just saying. And some of those guys just had that kind of appetite. But
no, a lot of older men trying to relive their younger years.
Well,
and I'm like, sit your old ass down.
But here's the thing. When you reach a certain level of experience, if you're actually good, you're not supposed to do that with every woman, because you won't be able to get rid of certain people.
But see, some men think that they're good and they're really not. Some men don't even know that they're good because they're so insecure. So a lot of men, you come with your own flaws, or just your own whatever, the same as women do. So yeah, like I was telling a friend of mine, like, don't ask me what I like. I hate that. Don't ask me, because if we have the chemistry, we have it. Just stop asking, because then you're going to do it as if, like, just let it flow. But that's because partly he is controlling, and you trying to make sure that you please me. So, and then two, you're skipping something. Because if I got to tell you when you do it, you're skipping the mental aspect of it.
So I'm going to be trifling when I say this. I've learned this as I got older. I started having sex at like 20. So in these last 22 years.
You did?
Yeah. My parents were teenage. Yeah, my parents were teenage parents, so I was afraid of being a teenage parent. So I did.
Really? So you kind of subconsciously, had that in your head? Oh, wow.
Yeah, because my parents were 18 and 17 when I was born, and I didn't want that life for no kid. I didn't want to start having sex and have that happen to me.
But usually you start having sex like 14, 15. So even at that age, you knew you did not want to end up like your parents.
Because I was the kid.
I know, but you had that much discipline, because your hormones going crazy when you're a teenager.
Don't get me wrong. I had times where God intervened in a lot of ways, when a lot of dads, moms, and aunties came into the room, and I was like, guess that's not going to happen today. But
okay, so it prolonged it for you.
Yeah. So, God had His hand on cock blocking my teenage sex life.
So you started having sex when you were in college.
Yeah, but I started college at 17.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So did you fall in love with your first?
No.
Oh. So it's different from a woman's first experience. Like, you just wanted to do it.
Yeah, it was just, let's get it. But it wasn't, for me, it was just like, okay, I knew I was going to start, but it was like, all right,
Was she your girlfriend?
No.
Oh, my God.
She was a girl I knew from college. We hooked up after Kappa Beach party.
And then it's just, yeah.
Yeah, and then years later, she wanted to hook up again, and that's when it started with me. Like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Because for years, from 20 to 30, I had a lot of callbacks. And I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute, like, I could have swore we was done, and I couldn't. And as I got older, I started figuring out why I had a lot of callbacks.
Why?
Because for one, I was a little I was freakier than most. I didn't know that. 2, when young women don't get satisfied like that on a regular basis, and even older women don't get satisfied like, so if you actually make a woman have an actual orgasm on a regular basis, they don't get it on a regular basis.
Some women don't even know some women don't even know what an orgasm, never experienced that, especially in their 20s.
So that's the thing. So if you you think, okay, I got one here, it's cool, I'm gonna meet some other guys, and then 6 months might go by, a year might go by, 2 years go by, and you're like, you know what, hey, how you doing? How you been?
But you know what, you a Sagittarius, right?
Yeah.
Sagittarius, y'all like to have a lot of experiences, but with no meaning in it. You like to experience shit, but you really don't depend on it's not really meaningful. It really takes you, it's very sporadic that it may be a person you're with that could be meaningful experiences, but normally your experiences has no meaning. Y'all try shit, y'all like to travel, you're free-spirited, Yes, you are freaky, but it's just like meaningless experiences, just like your first, just a girl, and yeah.
The thing about it is,
how old were you when you first fell in love?
I was in high school when I first fell in love, actually.
You know what I mean, as an adult.
Maybe I was 21.
Okay, how many people have you fell in love with, like really love?
4.
Out of how many?
I don't know that.
Out of 100. And I'm giving a high number because y'all don't really fall in love.
I don't. No, it's not 100 because I can because of them callbacks. Like
you fell in love with the callbacks?
No, I'm saying part of my experience was I didn't have to be on the prowl like that.
A prowl
because like when I was 21, I had a girlfriend. When I was like I would have a girlfriend for like a year or 2 years or something like that, and that'd be a constant thing or whatever. But when I was single again, I would get a lot of people who wanted to hook up from when I wasn't single. Yeah.
I never go backwards.
Well, it wasn't a go backwards to date type thing. You see what I'm saying?
It could be a go backwards to fucking. I don't go back to fuck.
That, like, for me as a guy, I was like, okay, like, don't
exactly meaningless. Cause I don't get okay. It's some ass.
It's not meaningless.
I'm ass. I'll go back and I'll dip because I'm just getting some ass. I ain't trying to get no relationship. I'm not trying to say you just you were being mean to the person, but when I mean meaningless, no attachment. Yeah, I'll go get some ass. She did have some good ass when we were together, and that's it.
But as I got older, I realized it was a good idea in experience, but a bad idea in because some girls I should have never actually messed with.
I mean,
like I see on social media now how guys do take the girl out on a date and they have the remote panties and they hit the button. People got to realize I was doing that in the early 2000s.
The remote panties.
Yeah.
What's the remote panties?
The panties with a vibrator in them that has a remote. You push the start.
You mean
push the start. Push the start.
Yeah, but it's an actual small vibrator thing.
Right. So I was doing that in the 2000s, early 2000s.
They had those vibrators in the 2000s? Oh.
Yes, they did.
I'm like, honey, no. That's what I'm saying. I don't. You know what? I like to use equipment, i.e., toys, by myself. If I'm with a man, no, use your fingers because I don't want toys in our thing. I don't.
I get what you're saying. I'm just what I learned over the years was men, when they're young, go through droughts. So if you're not in a steady relationship, you're gonna have droughts.
Mm-hmm.
But I had droughts when I was single, but because I was in relationships, I had less drought time. You get what I'm saying? So by that, I actually was able to experiment more. So when I would be single and things would go down, I had the callbacks came from my experimentations when I had my actual girlfriends. Because if I did it to her, I could do it to you, and then all of a sudden, I probably shouldn't have did that to you, because now you don't want to leave, and I got a problem.
No, I get that. I mean, no, I understand that. It's just, I mean, I'm just saying that's just my personal preference with toys. I just don't. I got to do toys by myself, and because I've had like a friend of mine, like I showed him one of my toys and he was like so fascinated, like, oh my God, you put that, and he was like, oh, maybe I could play. No, like, just leave my shit alone. This is why I didn't want to show you, because it's my time for me to have orgasm or whatever. And then when I'm with you, I just want it to be me and you. So I just don't bring in toys.
See, I learned all of that stuff. Like I learned early that even with men,
some women are into that. So
right, like I've been with those women who are into that. Like
yeah, most women are.
Yeah, like, I remember getting cheated on by one of my girlfriends, and it was like the funniest thing in the world after a while. Because, true story, she cheated. I think it was like 22 or some shit, like 22, 23, something like that. She cheated, and the guy she cheated on with, she called him my name in bed, and he was offended because, but he was one of those guys that got a kick out of trying to be with somebody's lady. And then when she called him my name, it was like, I'm putting in all this work and you still calling his name?
Right.
And I was like, that's what you get. Congrats. So to this day, they literally like 15 years later wind up getting married. And to this day, she'll call me on the low to say hi from time to time, but she'll be like, listen, mate, you know.
Does he still bring that up to her when she did that?
She won't tell him that she'll call me to say hi from time to time.
No. Because they're married now. The guy she cheated on you with. But when she does call you, does she say, don't you know he still brings that up from time to time that I called your name? Like, did she ever mention that?
No.
Oh.
She won't tell him that she talks to me at all. Because she knows he's like.
But that's what I'm saying. If she knows, like, not to even mention your name, he probably throughout the years mentioned, oh, you said that nigga name when we were having sex, like threw it up in her face. Men do that.
She won't. She's not going to, like, to this day.
No, I don't think. No, it's not that. It's not her saying, "Oh, I spoke to L.A.R." No, it could just be him and her getting into it, and then, you know, he like, oh, just like when you called that nigga name, and you know, blah blah blah. You probably did the same thing with another nigga, so blah blah blah. So that's probably why she would never mention to him that she occasionally call you.
Like that.
Wait, so have you ever called another woman name when you was with a different one? Did you ever have to catch yourself so that you know the person name you were with? Oh. Did you ever think of another woman when you were having sex with one?
There've been times, you know, but you know, like, ladies don't realize. As I got older, I realized.
Wait a minute, I need to dissect that. Why is it that you have to think of somebody else when you with that other person? What was that person you were physically with did not have or was not doing for you to think about somebody else just to, you know, stay up?
No, it wasn't to stay up, no.
But why were you thinking about somebody else?
because some people are just like y'all got a list. We got a list of who got the Olympic level box. We got a gold, silver, and a bronze in our head. But even when it comes to positions, we got a gold, silver, and a bronze. She's the best. And it's some people, you know, it's like, if this was such and such right now. Ooh.
Right. So instead of you choosing the woman with the Olympic box,
she said, "Don't answer that."
To be with, he already answered. Instead of you choosing the Olympic box to be the one, your main chick, why did you choose the mediocre one?
No.
If I gotta think of another man while I'm sleeping with my man because that other man just had the best sex, then I should have chose that one who had the best sex.
No, because you don't, you know, after you have so much sex, it takes you realize people think they got the bomb. Everybody think they got the best things cracking. But you run through a little bit of a roster and you realize like, you run through a lot of averages. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You run through a lot of averages. And so the standouts really stand out.
But why didn't you wipe the standout?
It might sound weird to say this. I was actually in love with the standout. I actually was. That's actually, you know what? The one that had one of them that had that standout box. That was the one that cheated. But
and that's why you chose the mediocre one, because you think the mediocre would be less likely to cheat.
No. What happened is, you know, after you break up, you move on. So after years, you go through people. And
Okay, so when you ran, so the one who stood out, you actually chose her, and then that relationship didn't work. So it just so happened the next one you got into a relationship with, hers was mediocre. So from time to time, while you're hitting a mediocre, you would think about the Olympic box, the one
like somebody
the one that cheated on you.
Like, okay, you might have one girl that is. The box is the Michael Phelps of boxes. It's born to be wet, right? But then you might have one she has the greatest mouth of all time, and she's like the goat of mouths and throats and stuff, right? And then you might have the freakiest one that does all of the things, you know, that you didn't even expect to like. And you're like, wait a minute. So you get categories, and
but wouldn't the freaky one outdo the wet box and the mouth?
Not necessarily.
And the thing is, you mean to tell me the Olympic box couldn't do the mouth?
Because sometimes you could be sometimes you could be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Again, why did you settle for the mediocre who don't have Olympic box and don't have the master mouth? You still settle for the less.
You're not talking about right. Like, I know you're not talking about right now, right?
No, I know you're in a relationship right now. Like, no. I'm saying in general. And I'm saying in general because men, y'all do think like this. Y'all do the craziest, stupid shit sometimes. You know she got the good box, but then you go for mediocre. Is it a self-esteem thing? Is it because you think the mediocre is less likely to break your heart or cheat on you?
No,
that's not true.
Now, I will say this. At a certain point, you weigh peace of mind and peace of box.
Oh, so you trying to say that the one with the Olympic box is the one that gave you a headache? That's BS.
No. I'm saying, for a person like me, I would choose peace of mind over peace of box.
Okay, so again, you mean to tell me the Olympic box couldn't give you a peace of mind? Just the mediocre one just so happened did.
No, I'm saying I got a above average box and above average piece, and that I'll take that over Olympic box.
Why?
Because the piece counts.
So you're saying the one who had the Olympic box didn't come with peace?
Yes.
Okay, you can tell me that all you want, and I'm not saying you personally, but just men, period. Y'all use that same non-accountability bullshit ass line excuse.
No. I'm gonna tell you why.
Let's just say you fucked up with your decision because you thought that this is men. You actually thought that the average would give you less of a headache and would less likely to cheat on you. Where in reality, it's the average dude down to the ugly chicks are the one that's going to give you the most headache, that's going to lie to you, and that's going to cheat on you. Pretty girls don't get approached a lot by men.
No, this is what, and I'm glad you said that. This is what I learned.
But we need to close in like 5 minutes.
We good, no problem. I've learned.
Well, we're going to resume this talk.
Yeah.
Part 2.
I've learned that pretty girls are normally the freakiest. I've learned, over the years, pretty girls are normally the because for one, like you said, either they get approached by high guys, or they don't get approached a lot, or they don't get approached at all. So they've been holding on to it. So they'll do the wildest things, but but there are other girls who are very promiscuous, and they do a lot of different things. But the problem sometimes with those women are they're pretty much sexual toys. Like that's their get over, and it becomes that's what the less peace of mind is when you can't really do anything but get me off. That becomes aggravating because if I need X, Y, and Z done, I know you're going to try to get me off to divert me from knowing you're lazy.
Whatever. Honestly, I don't think we should have. Maybe next show we should have the sex talk. I don't know. I'm like next show. I'm already telling I'm coming on. You never go. Okay, are you gonna start doing this Saturdays? I don't know what happened to
I'm actually Saturdays. You know what happened? I work almost
average lasts longer than free. No, Yogi, just y'all can't just admit
I work
that
most Saturdays.
Sometimes, majority of the time, men, the one got away. Y'all can't never admit you let the one get away.
Normally,
got away. Y'all always do that.
Where we're stupid is we're like women in the fact that you can't have the one as a woman and the one as a sexual porn star. That's rare.
What I don't mean to toot my own horn, honey. This is why I'm a rare. But
that's rare.
You can't have that, and it's no. Let me not toot my own. You know why you can have it? Because it's about chemistry. If you have sexual chemistry, you have it. Whatever. And this is the lack of accountability that men don't have when it comes to sex.
This is about to get trifling. It's rare when a man and a woman get together, and when he enters her and she feels him enter, they both have that breath, like I feel like I'm being born again moment. Like that's a rare thing. Like I can't.
You gotta end the show now because I need to be in my happy space because Formula One is on. I gotta be in my happy space. Okay. My pressure gonna start going up at 1 a.m. when the green button go off, and I gotta be focused. And I don't got time right now. It's past midnight, L.A.R. You sit up here telling me some bullshit about men and entering and all that stuff.
You know what? Go get your Lewis Hamilton turn on. Yes. That's why you watching Formula One, because you want him to drive his thing right into your thing. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. But thanks, Dana.
When you want to do another show?
We could do one next Saturday because I'm actually off next Saturday.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I'm usually off like once a month on Saturday, so that's why it's hard for me to do that.
All right, so definitely next Saturday, either here or mine or.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Okay, cool. All right, it's been fun. Right. Bye, guys.
Peace. Y'all take care. I'm gonna cut this thing off, and we're gonna be out, players. Let me see if I can.